All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer Release podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM nasty big hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the cool and red hot Nielson show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macramalla intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
A 6:04, you are tuned in to the Nielson Show on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Good morning to everybody watching and listening, both YouTube, the Edmonton Sports Talk channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that sub button. You'll be all up to date on anything going on the YouTube. Hit that like as well if you are in the nasty chat this morning. I know it is getting populated quite a bit. Everybody's having a good time. It looks like another chilly start to the day, but things will be getting better here in the short while here as well. Good morning to everybody on the audio streams, iHeart and TuneIn Radio, as well as, and if you are listening up at edmontonsportstalk.com. Lieutenant Eric here with you. Dustin Nielson, he's in Boston. He's not live from Boston, obviously. Right now, as you can see, I'm in the shot with an empty chair beside me. YouTube Trev behind the monitors and keyboards and boards here, scrambling away. Dustin Nielson in Boston. He is alive. We're going to just check boxes here. He's up. He's alive. Everything's fine. He got there yesterday. Met up with the Cool Bet Gang, Huss, Jake Bolin Moss and crew. Just a few connection issues this morning, so we will see what happens with Dustin Nielson as we make our way through this Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Nielson Show here on EST. But for right now, you got me, you got YTT, and we will get you through this one as best as can be. As mentioned, another chilly start to the day, minus 24, but man, we are running down the hillside today. Minus 16, it looks like, for a high, cloudy skies, and a forecast of +1 for Thursday is what I'm seeing on my forecast right now. But it looks like warmer temperatures at least starting to begin tomorrow and then into the weekend and next week. So basically, make it through today. And we got a lot of good things coming, including the Four Nations Face-Off Final, which goes in about 35 hours and 54 minutes. My rough math, Rashoggian math, does me correct here. But yes, we are inching closer to that final that everybody is looking forward to. Of course, a little bit of news and notes surrounding the tournament yesterday, specifically from the American side in terms of roster configuration. Quinn Hughes, he's coming. That was the quote. Need another injury as well, I do believe, for him to kind of play in the tournament. But he is on his way. The Americans 12-6. with Charlie McAvoy banged up as well. So we'll get more thoughts on that later on. We have a hockey-heavy show once again with guests. Reporter Chris Johnston on the beat of TSN and The Athletic. He'll join us around 7:05. And ESPN's Greg Wyshynski, as we normally do on a Wednesday in the third hour around 8:30. We'll get both of their thoughts. It's nice to have a bit of a Canadian mix and an American mix on the show today as well. But other news and notes, the morning announcements here as we are coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. Once again, if you're looking for a bite, if you're looking to stay warm, looking for a little hot chicken, go to the Popeyes and check out the value menu. 5-piece nuggets, fried pickles, mini chicken wrap, mini chicken sandwich, and blackened cauliflower, all for $4. Perfect snackable items that can round out your favorite Popeyes meal. So if you're cruising around today trying to stay warm, whatever you're doing at work, maybe fly in some Popeyes or visit a Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen and take advantage of that value menu deal. But Oilers also returning to practice yesterday. They hit the ice. Some news and notes surrounding them as well. Matt, we have a Savoy sighting. He's been letting it up in Bakersfield this season. It looks like he will get a shot. He was skating yesterday with Leon Draisaitl. Some pretty nice words to say about the 21-year-old, so we'll see how that develops. But the Oilers embarking on a 5-game road trip that starts Saturday morning in Philly. Of course, we here at EST will be all over that with the Oil Stream GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre-game show and post-game show, both Saturday morning in Philly and Sunday morning in Washington. So action gets underway for the Oilers thick and fast following tomorrow's Four Nations face-off final. But Matt Savoy skating with the club yesterday, as well as Derek Ryan, although not officially recalled by the club, taking places as the roster is trimmed due to the Four Nations face-off final. So, yes, hockey heavy once again. We'll be discussing a lot of that. Scotty's Tournament of Hearts also continuing from Thunder Bay last night and into today. Both Alberta rinks not participating in last night's evening draw, but they will be in action later this morning and later this evening as well. More on that to come. The Nielson Show, as always, with Dusty or without Dusty, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Go see the fine folks and follow them on social media as well. South Fort Chevrolet, nice green logo. You'll recognize it when you see it. But very interactive on social media. If you have any questions, I'm sure you can pop in their DMs. Visit them online, www.southfortchev.com, or go see them as well up in Fort Saskatchewan. Daniel, Claire, and the team would be happy to have you. Great little dealership and very cozy confines there up in Fort Saskatchewan. 780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Once again, a host down this morning. Nothing against what YouTube Trev as he is scrambling behind the scenes trying to get some sort of connection here. So I'll let him do that for a bit. But if you want to chat, bring it on. We can talk as much as you want today in the PJ's inbox. Paris Jewelers, once again, if you did take advantage of what they were selling during the Valentine's Day weekend, don't stop now. Continue to hit them up. Of course, much like Christmas, the best time to get things is kind of after that major holiday. So hit up PJ's, see what they got for deals right now. 22 stores, 4 provinces across the nation, including here in the WEM West Edmonton Mall location. That's the one we love, parisjewelers.com. That is the inbox. 780-218-9999. And best text of the day today, we'll be sending you to A&W, $20 to A&W on the line right now for text of the day. So get your messages in. Troll says, LT, how about that game last night for Minerson? What a comeback. Yeah, that Manitoba v. Manitoba on the Pebble last night. Some great shooting there. A hell of a game. There's been some good games in the Scotties. There's also some ones that just kind of, as you know, in curling kind of get out of hand. But I think we were treated to a delicious matchup in last night's evening draw when Manitoba took on Manitoba. And what a comeback indeed. So we'll get to more Scotties talk as well. Homan currently cruising. She's sitting at 5-0 atop Pool A, but Alberta's Kayla Skurlik right there at 4-2. You then have British Columbia, and then the second Alberta rink of Selena Sturmey sitting at 3-2 entering today's play. That all on the Pool A side. So we won't turn this into a curling show. Don't worry. This is hockey heavy, as we will be all over the Four Nations. Again, 1 day away, a little over 24 hours away from the final. USA, Canada. Dustin, breaking news. Going to try to upgrade to premium internet here. Shouldn't be too much longer. You'd think, Trev, that he would be on the premium already. Spare no expense for the big show, am I right?
Yeah.
Charge it to HR Daddy, right?
This is going straight to HR Daddy.
Write it all off, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Man, that was hectic way to start the show. So,
hey, that's why you earn your keep, eh?
All the shots, everything was okay. Everything was fine. LT and I were like, okay, we're ready. Let's go.
We were twerking.
Yeah, we were twerking. You were twerking. I was in a great mood. And then as soon as I went to duplicate a shot, so that means, double the shot, make 2 of them.
Yeah.
Instead of duplicate, I pressed delete. And so I deleted the original shot there. So I had to that was very stressful. But I was able to put this one together. So we'll see how that works. If that's
Sometimes
okay
it's
for
good
Dusty.
to get, you know what I think it is, and I want to extend this to the Pat, it's just a big test.
Yeah. No,
It's all a test. Just to see how you scramble and get everything going. And,
Yes.
you passed again with flying colors. So
thank you.
conch yourself here, YouTube Trev.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well give
Let's
him
get
one
a
out
conch.
there. Yeah.
We're thriving here.
So Dustin will be upgrading. Again,
Over under 10 minutes.
well, does he come by before the first sports break? I guess is that the first marker, the first post we set down. Hopefully he's here. Morning announcements. I mean, lucky for him, nothing really going on too much. We've already talked about the curling, of course.
We preset everything.
Four Nations is kind of trucking along. But yeah, Oilers, Savoy. What are your thoughts, Matt Savoy? I mean, Trev, you are an ardent follower of this team. Some would say a fan.
Yes.
Your thoughts on young Savoy yesterday's skate? Draisaitl had some glowing
that
reviews for him.
was really
never
good.
a bad thing.
I tell you what, the Four Nations has really, I've always been a fan. I'll always be a fan. But, I mean, I remember our first client mixer here at EST, and everyone's, just casually talking amongst themselves and having a grand old time. I know Corey the Butcher was there, a few of our sponsors, right? And I was just glued to the TV, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and it's the second game of the season, and the Four Nations, I'm cheering, and I'm back. I haven't felt like this in a very, very long time, so it's reassuring, and I love it. As for Matt Savoy, I love this guy. This guy's going to be a stud. I love what they're doing with him, but I think it is time to see what he can do in the Orange and Blue, the Oilers organization. And I think there's no better time than now. When they were bringing in players before, like the Puljujärvis, the prospects that they've had, it's kind of they've been relying on offense, and they've been like, okay, no, they're bringing in Yamamoto. Look what he's doing in the minors. He's going to be a difference maker. The Oilers need offense. They have offense right now in the minors, so you need to bring him up. But that's not what's happening here. He's doing really, really good things, but they're not bringing him in and being like, Kate, we're relying on you. We need you to put in some big points here. There's going to be no pressure on this guy. And I think that's great. And that is something that the Oilers haven't had in many years, bringing in a prospect to just play his game and just do you. None of the light's going to be on him. And that's going to be awesome. Yeah. That's going to be really, really good. And that's what you see with, the Matthew Nyes of the world when they brought him into the playoffs a few seasons ago. They're not going to be expecting big things. They're expecting big things from the big guys, the Marners, the Matthews, the Nylanders, all that kind of thing. So, and you saw it last year with Stankoven as well when he got brought up from the Dallas Stars. All the limelight is on Wyatt Johnston and Jason Robertson. So this is a perfect time to bring up a Matt Savoy, in my opinion. I'm all for it. He's a great, he's a good skater. He's a better skater than his brother. He's got a really good shot. He's putting up some pretty good numbers right now in the AHL. And especially as of late, the last few months, he's been pretty dynamite. So I'm excited. Where he fits in, I don't know, but he's kind of a versatile player. You can throw him in wherever.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I think this is great. And he does have some praise from Draisaitl. He's a first-round pick. This is a highly touted prospect. When it was his draft year, people were saying he could go, north of, the 5th overall pick. So I really am excited to see what this guy can do. And he looked pretty good in the preseason. And, if he gets his look right away here, I'm excited.
The weight of expectation, you're right, won't be on him like a wet potato sack. I mean, and has what has hampered a few players in the past. But our own EST's Tom Gazzola reporting yesterday, sounds like Savoy will travel with the Oilers on their upcoming Eastern Conference road trip. Expect him to make his debut with the big club. The Condors all start putting together a solid season, Gazzola said. 13 goals, 24 assists. He's plus 16 in 45 games in the AHL this season. So some good numbers. Again, as you mentioned, the the accolades that go along with him, his drafts, all of that stuff. I mean, it's expected that he's here, but the expectation is not weighing around his neck like a 50-pound weight. So we'll see. I mean, it's nice when you can kind of bring these guys along for the trip and see what you got and take them out for a test drive. Derek Ryan, obviously, more of a placeholder, I guess, yesterday in practice, as opposed to Matt Savoy, who, as Gazzola pointed out, is expected to travel with the team on the upcoming trip. So something to look forward to there. Of course, the Oilers pick up their schedule again Saturday and Sunday, Philadelphia and Washington. It's thick and fast. They'll then do a Floridian trip midweek and round up the trip next Saturday in Carolina. That's an evening start against the Hurricanes. So some early puck drops for the Oilers in the next 5 games once the Four Nations face-off comes to a close, and that is tomorrow at 6, USA and Canada. Of course, Dustin Nielson. And Bowen's brought up a good point in the Paris Jewelers inbox as well, 780-218-9999. Cool bet should be picking up the bill. No? Great point. This is not a trip that's financed by EST. We're not, taking the monies and sending Dusty away on anybody's dime here. This is a cool bet trip, much like the World Cup trip that never was for Dustin Nielson to Qatar. This is all Cool Bet, our betting sponsor, one of our biggest sponsors, and we love them for that. But I do believe Cool Bet, he probably got a little gift bag when he showed up at the hotel room. They could have at least sprung for the premium Wi-Fi. Yeah.
They're generous.
Yeah.
They should have done something. Yeah, I saw the photo of the boys. You can just tell. I bet Dusty, he's just waiting.
And I told you before, he didn't show up at the scheduled time. If he showed up when he was supposed to show up, it'd be like, oh, Dustin's here, great. Hey, he took a day late. It was a miracle that he showed up. I think Huss was blaming or likening it to some chicken finger down at the rink. Like, oh, this tendy has blessed us with Dustin Nielsen. So Dusty shows up there. I'm sure when he showed up, it was a lot of hooting and hollering and just,
Yeah, it was
the
a
big
wild
man's
thing.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you've gotten to a party or something, you're just a tad late. Or people
you have to
expect
make
you
up
not to
for
show.
it.
Yeah, you got to catch up.
You got to catch up. You got to make up for it. And I feel like that's what our good old Dusty did last night.
Yeah.
Which,
well,
you know what? Good for him.
It's not Chicago 2015 draft where Will Fraser and I didn't know where he was or if we would hear from him again. He's made connection. He's there. It's 8:00 in Boston. He's wanting to get on the air. You can tell. It's just the internet. But Huss tweeting out last night. Good picture of the boys. Jake Bull and Moss, Huss, they're all at the, what is this, the Save the Crier or Ring the Bell bar? All those American pubs, they were all made in like 1658.
That's pretty.
And they're all called like, Carry
historic.
the Pig. Yeah.
Very
Like
historic.
the names make no sense. But looks like they're having a good time, and glad Dusty finally got down there. As RCN says in the nasty chat, finally got to Boston riding in a van with the polka king of the Midwest, Gus Polinski. And yes, that was kind of the joke leading into this trip as well. But he's safe, he's good, he's connecting to the premium internet, and he'll have his continental breakfast. And he's probably in a loose robe right now, I would say, in the confines of his own hotel room.
He's got
his own room, spread eagle on the bed.
Oh yeah. He's just got a top on, and then he's got some underwear on or something like that. He's not completely dressed, but I know he's amped to join. So here's hoping he does, because I'm curious about the story. He had to drive to Calgary, if you don't know, and then he had to make his way to New York before he made his way to Boston. So it was quite the process in getting there, but he made it.
And he has to be back for the Muzz's birthday as well. That's going to be...
Take the over or under on that.
I don't know. I start walking now.
The same day.
Just to make sure you get back. That's... everybody else is going to be wanting to leave Boston as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was factored into the equation.
It's going to be tough.
Why are all these people here?
What's going on?
Library Pat says, a professional start to the show. LT to Dustin, he finally gets the text sorted out. Get away from me, you horse's ass. It is a Wednesday. I don't have the clips, but thank you to Library Pat for honoring the day. Get away from me, you horse's ass. That type of thing. Yeah, I don't know if you've got the... you don't have any of that stuff kicking around.
If Tommy was there, he'd be able to press it.
Tommy was a whiz on the old Roadcaster yesterday, wasn't he?
You know what? He's actually doing pretty good at that.
He loves pushing
Not
buttons.
much of a tech guy, but he does.
Tommy.
Yeah, he does love pushing those buttons.
Jason says, #CoolBetJet. You know what? Even with the traveling, they should have sent out a PJ. They get guys from all over the world from Coolbet, right? All over Finland and everything. They had to have had a Coolbet. You can see it now. The Coolbet logoing, the polar bear on the side. I'm sure they could have picked them up, whisked them up in the jet, the Jake Bullen-Moss jet, and flew them out there. And for crying out loud, get them the premium internet. Oh, what is going on? Let's get into that. Hurts right now, I guess. We'll do that. I wasn't really sent a show menu today, but...
Let's do it.
We'll try to tick off as many sponsors as we can here. Moving through, Dusty, too bad you missed out on that. Hurts today. It's for James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law when accidents happen. Go to jameshbrown.com. Is he getting in here? There he is. We saw him.
Okay, one sec.
Okay, we'll just
I'll bring him
pause.
on. So let's bring the boss
I'll dance
on
for
here.
a bit. The boss is
Mute
here. The
him.
boss.
Let's get the network on. Nielson, there he is. Oh, he looks good. Oh, actually, he did just freeze.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, he's good.
That's the premium internet.
Yeah, no, he's good. One sec, Dusty. If you can hear me, one sec. We're bringing him on.
Yay,
Awesome.
thumbs
He
up.
gives us the thumbs up. Yeah, he's ready. No, this is good. Well, you know what? I said before the sports update, and I was right.
You were right. You were correct.
So without further ado, the man,
The boss.
the myth, the legend, here is Yeg Nielson.
What's up? How are we doing? Lieutenant Eric, how are you? Can you
Great.
hear me?
You? Yeah. How's that premium internet? Why were you not on premium internet to start? I don't get it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the issue was, but it seems to be working fine right now. Mind you, it did freeze briefly.
Yeah.
Just a few moments ago. Is my mouth lining up with the words? Is it all sound
It
good?
looks fine. Yeah, the lighting's
All right.
good.
Looks good.
Yeah, I think the lighting's okay. This is like the fanciest hotel room I've ever been in my entire life. I'll send you guys a video later. Like there's 3 showers and or bathtubs in this room. It's ridiculous. So I got in, I don't know, I checked in probably around like 1:00 last night. And they're like, they'd marked me down as a no-show because, I didn't show for 2 days. And then because I think all the other rooms are booked, they put me in like a suite. It's like from The Hangover, the movie The Hangover. Like it's absolutely ridiculous here. So I don't even know if I've seen the entire room yet. I think there might be other areas of this room that I haven't been able to see just yet. So yeah, but I mean I don't know what was going on with the connection issue, but we're good to what did I miss? Tell me what I missed.
We're just counting down to the Four Nations face-off final, basically. I mean, that's all that's going on right now. Is Huss in the room with you? If somebody wants to know.
No, Huss is in his own room.
Yeah. Do you have the same view as him?
I don't know. I guess we'll see a little bit later on. I'm on like the top floor here. This is like these blinds open with a button. It's very cool. Like it's kind of neat. So yeah, pretty excited that it's actually working though. Happy to be here. 16-hour travel day yesterday for me, which
Hey, that's great.
Which I'm not gonna lie, that sucked. But we made it to Boston and everything's good. So excited for the game. I got in pretty late last night, so not 100%. I haven't got a feel for the buzz yet, outside of the fact that Huss and a bunch of the Finns that I met up with last night, they're obviously very excited.
Well, so how was the night?
Well, I landed. I didn't land until like 11, and the Coolbet guys and Huss were like, "You should come straight to the pub that we're at. Just bring your bags here." So I was like, "Okay." So rolled in there to a place called
The Crying Bell or something? Bell in Hand.
Bell in Hand.
Yeah.
Bell in Hand, which apparently the boys were telling me when I got there that it is like the oldest pub in America. He said it's been around since like 1776, and it was karaoke night, if you can believe it. So yeah, it was actually a pretty good vibe for a Tuesday night at this place. And then got back here, had some issues checking in, but once I got checked in, in this fabulous room with now what appears to be working internet, so that's exciting as well, and lots to discuss. I mean, obviously we're gonna get to the Four Nations. It's gonna be, I mean, incredible game. Quinn Hughes watch, all that fun stuff. So we'll definitely get to that as we continue to work our way through the show this morning. We'll get to, let me, did you lay out what's coming up in the show here? Let's lay this out for you.
I have no idea. I know.
All right. Yeah, I have no idea. Let me say this: if you're watching over on YouTube today, I'm like number 75. All right, so we're 25 away from changing 100 here before 6:30 this morning. We will have the fan zone coming up right away here just after 6:30. I saw you. Were you guys doing That Hurts already?
We were going to get into it, but yeah.
Okay, well, I also want to do That Hurts around 6:50 today because I got a lot of Vladdi takes. I had a discussion. How come this headset won't stay up? There we go. I had a discussion with the cabbie. His name was Bobby. He's been driving cab for 48 years. So when I got at the airport last night, we were talking. He goes, I'm a Red Sox guy. I said, well, congratulations on your Vladimir Guerrero acquisition this offseason. I was breaking the news to him. He's like, what? We're going to get that guy. I said, I bet you $1 million you're going to get that guy. So anyway, Bobby, the Boston cab driver, very excited about Vladdi. Chris Johnston's going to join us. This was a Noodles thing. Noodles had to fly this morning, so he's going to join us on Friday. Chris Johnston is going to join us just after 7 o'clock. We'll take a look at TV ratings for the Four Nations. What in the heck is going on with Quinn Hughes? Cale Makar obviously available for this game when he wasn't available for the game on Saturday. So we'll get into that. Free advice for Damon Bunting coming up. Macramalla is going to join us. He'll pop by around 7:45 today. Saw Macramalla tweeting about Vladdi yesterday a little bit as well. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. That's a good for the Italian center. Greg Wyshynski, Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power, Marmot Basin, and of course, Marmot Basin Snow Report, and of course, the wrap for William Huff today. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Now I have a board here, but I don't have any of my fun songs or anything today. So Trev, you're gonna have to play that "What Say You" song a bunch of times. Like apparently you guys like to do when I'm not around. So
we got the Halud crew. I know it's not Tuesday, but I mean that's a banger. It's
is that? Have you guys already played? Did you play that yesterday?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah,
that's
great.
Good. Because I definitely want to hear. That. So maybe we can have that coming back.
And you can do the old Wednesday drops yourself, right?
Don't bother me, Aaron. I'm in a hotel, Aaron. So yeah, I guess I can get to a few of those as well. Matt Savoy in town. Not this town. Your guys' town, obviously. So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show this morning. Actually, Trev, I want your thoughts on Matty Savoy. What happens with this guy? We'll get into it on the fans out there a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I missed it. Trev, what do you think? Tell me.
No, I'm pumped. I already told the Nasties I'm all for it. I think it's time. I think they're developing this player as they should. There's really no pressure in bringing in a Matt Savoy right now. He's going to come in, do his thing, and they're not really expecting much of him like they have in years prior with prospects. They're not bringing in prospects to actually make a difference. They're bringing in a prospect to just play his game, find his game at the NHL level, and really that's it. And if he can do that, that's a bonus. Like if he can put up points, that's such a bonus. They're bringing him in just to see where he's at, and if he can actually contribute offensively, then that's huge. That's huge, and I expect him to actually. I expect him to do some really good things. So it's the perfect time to bring him in my opinion. I'm all for it. You can put him in. I'd like to think they're going to have him in the bottom 6, but I mean, he's got he's got good offensive awareness. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him some looks in the top 6 as well. So I'm for it. I love it.
Well, what say you, everybody? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning, where, of course, they've got flexible payment options such as do not pay until 2026. That's next year. You do not have to pay until next year. So we'll get into that a little bit with the fan zone here. Matt Savoy, where would you slot him into the lineup? What type of expectations do you have for him? We will definitely get into those. Yeah, we're 4 away from. I got live watch here, boys. I got the live watch today. It's very exciting seeing that little thumbs up ticker move. So hammer that thumbs up if you're watching over on YouTube today, and we'll get to a few more of your messages over there as well. Belineski says 4K Dusty is my favorite Dusty. How great is this camera on this? So I'm coming directly. I don't even have a webcam plugged in. I'm coming directly off the new laptop, and It's just. phenomenal camera. Like I don't know. I feel like we need to upgrade our studio cameras. When I see a camera like this, it looks. You can see like all the little individual hairs on my beard. It's kind of neat.
All the chicken tender crumbs. People are asking how the tendies are. Have you gotten a
no
chance
tendies?
to
I haven't. I had a buffalo chicken wrap at like 1:30 in the morning when I got back to the hotel. I was starving. So anyway, yeah, we'll get to my travel day yesterday. It was a little ridiculous, but I am very happy that I am here. I am excited to be at this hockey game tomorrow. And we'll get that ready with Chris Johnston and the enemy, Greg Wyshynski, when he pops by as well. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. The troll is into the Paris Jewelers inbox today. Says, guys, I hope Savoy isn't just auditioning for an offer sheet. That's funny. That is a St. Louis Blues joke right there. All right, changing 100. That's a nice start to the day. Nice start to the day. Oh, Trev's on his game today. I like it.
He's on it.
I like it. He's on fire. Yeah, good. All right, the Fan Zone for fans first on the other side of a sports update. That hurts for James H. Brown. Still to come as well. And if you are listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at edmontonsportstalk.com, you can tell your friends how easy it is to consume our content. If you're watching over on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us. Hit us up in the nasty chat. Chris Johnston on the way in about 30 minutes. So continue to get you ready for the United States and Canada in the final of the greatest tournament of our generation. We'll get to that. Let's get to a sports update right now with LT.
Four Nations face-off final, as Dusty mentioned, tomorrow from Boston. Canada takes on the U.S. as the world awaits Canucks defenseman Quinn Hughes. He's expected to link up with the Americans prior to tomorrow's final. Canucks also will be without Thatcher Demko for their upcoming 5-game road trip. He is listed as week-to-week with a lower body injury. Oilers, meanwhile, they returned to the ice yesterday for practice as Matt Savoy is expected to join the club for its 5-game road trip. That begins Saturday morning in Philly. The 21-year-old, 13 goals and 24 assists in 45 games in the AHL this season. Savoy also joined by Derek Ryan at practice yesterday, as both players, however, weren't officially recalled. Scotty's Tournament of Hearts from Thunder Bay. The morning draw will feature Alberta's Selena Sturmey taking on New Brunswick. In the evening draw later tonight, Sturmey will face Saskatchewan's Nancy Martin, while Kayla Skurlik's rink will go up against PEI's Jane DiCarlo. Skurlik sits at 4-2 entering play today, while Sturmey's rink are 3-2. And the regular season schedule in the NBA resumes tonight when the LA Lakers host the Charlotte Hornets. Coming up next, more from Boston. Dustin Nielson live from the Four Nations Face-Off here on The Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
It's the Halloo Crew. Normally my show won't have to. Here we go, we got station brew. Body Orlando's got one too. It's the Halloo Crew. Don't ask what second mind I do. Intellectual feels that screw. Make it churny up with that glue. Keep the torrid diesel. Go back because the legal. Equal name after so sequel. Laughing just like we will. We can play together. We'll check the slow back to the one thing known as it's like a line of gold or maybe silver. It's the Halloo Crew. It's a story about tomorrow. Doing a cameo sometime from morning radio. The Halloo Crew. Grumpy cat from Grand Prairie. By me of Orlando, the north side Normandy. Schadenfreude, the happiness of others they avoid. They take pleasure in your hemorrhoid. Your misery makes them overjoyed. Schadenfreude, on and off the ice they will destroy ya. They're guaranteed to never ever bore ya. So they wish you happy Schadenfreude. It's the Halloo Crew. It's the Halloo Crew. It's the Halloo Crew. It's the Halloo Crew.
Man, do those guys know how to party or what? The Halud Crew song. That's exciting. It is the Nielson Show, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. I don't know if this is going to work. Not that we necessarily need it to work, but I did load in. I loaded up my little. I don't think this will play properly, but let me just see here. Can you hear that?
Very faintly.
Very faintly. Good to know. Good to know. All right.
Don't think it's connected.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought I'd try, but that's okay. All right. You mentioned Skurlik in there. You see the shot that she hit the other day? Was it yesterday? To score 5. Did you see that shot?
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah. No, it's they've been playing pretty good. They're in the mix when it comes to Pool A. But a lots will be kind of sussed out later today and later this evening as well. But it's kind of Homan's running away with that Pool A, but Skurlik 4-2, BC 4-1, then Sturmey 3-2 as well. So both firmly in the mix as we kind of head down the stretch.
Exciting stuff. Now that I'm an avid curler myself, I got some eyes on the Scotties now. So you know what? My body wasn't as sore as I thought it was going to be the next 2 days after curling. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to move my arms after being on the brush.
At least your
head
was fine though. That helmet was tight though. Hey, that's a tight fit.
Yeah, I got sweaty in that helmet. Now, with that being said, I also didn't get concussed. So, I mean, I will also probably be in a helmet at next year's event. So, that was a really fun time. I know you guys probably talked about that yesterday, so we don't need to rehash it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Much more fun than I thought it was going to be a good time, but I had an excellent time. Like it was absolutely well done. Awanak organized another a banger of an event, and if there are any spots available next year, you should try to join us. I think we'll probably be sold out rather quickly, but who knows? We'll get some fresh blood in there next year. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. The Nielsen Show is presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev, and this is kind of cool, actually. They want to run a free full vehicle 79-point inspection for South Fort for the month of February, right? So the first 10 people to call and book with the code EST will get your inspection for free. This comes with a regular cost of $160. Of course, everybody, you recommend it annually. Go get your vehicle checked out. Make sure everything's safe. It's like going to the doctor once a year, essentially. Except this time, the first 10 people to get in are going to get it for free. $160 value for free. Go get your vehicle checked out. They'll make sure everything's working fine for you. Once again, contact them at 780-998-7883. That's 780-998-7883. Book with the code EST, and the first 10 people to book will get their full vehicle 79-point inspection for free, coming at a cost of $160. But the first 10 of you will get that inspection for free. Once again, 780-998-7883 is where you can book with our presenting partners of the show at South Fort Chev. All right, we'll get to that Hertz coming up. 780-218-9999. Of course, you can hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning, and we'll get into a bunch of those as well. Vance Van Vandervan says, are the Americans pulling a Michael Johnston and faking injuries to pre-excuse the loss?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's just it.
Interesting. I don't mind that. I don't mind that theory. Do you think Quinn Hughes will find his way into the lineup on Thursday, Rick?
Well, if they unleash Tanya Harding on somebody, hey, maybe that's the play now. Yeah. We had the Michael Johnston theory. Why not just break out Tanya Harding from her mold and let her get at somebody?
What is the level of that guy can't go proof that you need? You know, I will have to bring this up with Chris
I think you take it to the team doctor, let them do a 79-point inspection on the guy. You know, well, he's got a
regularly $160. You get it for free. That's all for Chev. First 10 SCs to call.
I do like going to the doctor and asking not for a physical, but a 79-point inspection on yourself. Yeah, I think that's what we do moving forward. But
you know what they do at South Fort Chev? They they hit your car on the knee with a rubber thing to just see how it is. But yeah, do you have to have a doctor's note from somebody if Jake Sanderson can't play and Quinn Hughes is like? I do want to know what that proof needs to look like. So we'll get into that with Chris Johnston coming up here just after 7 o'clock this morning. Sapporo J over on the Nasty Chat, where if you're watching on YouTube, we're at 125 likes. Hammer the thumbs up for us over there. He says, let Quinn play. So when Canada wins, there's no excuses.
Well,
I had
best on best. Yeah.
It was I think Canada is going to win, but if they lose, I think we'll probably be hanging it on Binnington. You know what I mean? Like if they end up losing this hockey game, I think it probably because of a bad goal or two. I mean, if Binnington plays well, Canada will win. Canada will win this game. I don't think that's a hot take by any stretch of the imagination, but if you do want to chime in on that, let's dive into the fan zone right now for fansfirst.ca. By fans, for fans, no fees at fansfirst.ca. 2 areas I want to go on the fan zone today. One will obviously be Matt Savoy. Where do you think he gets a look? Where do you think he should get a look? Is it alongside Adam Henrique on a third line? Probably where he'll slot in, I would think on this upcoming road trip for a little bit. So what do you expect from Savoy? Where does he fit in? And I guess you get a little bit of a look at him here before the trade deadline. And if he, I was going to say if he really impresses, you don't need to go in and get somebody, but I still think you want to add another veteran.
You said it. 6
somewhere along the way, right?
February 19th.
Oh,
we got
a self-rental, a self-ad, or whatever they like to say.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe Savoy and Klingberg are indeed the answers.
Wow.
So we'll see. Anyway, where would you want him to play? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
Yeah, Big Uke in the Nasty Chat. If Hughes wanted to play so bad, he shouldn't have opted out. Sanderson better have someone sampling his food today. Maybe that's the route. Maybe an old food poisoning would get Sanderson out of the lineup.
I mean, if I was on the coaching staff of the United States, I would totally poison that guy.
Yeah, undercook his ground beef.
Simple as that. Yeah. It's easy enough, right? There's an easy enough way. Yeah. Do what Jordan had before the flu game and have bad pizza. Get pizza ordered in. That's what it was. It wasn't up all night
but
drinking.
He played though, right? Didn't he play it?
He played in flu game and then held on to Scottie Pippen and said, "Hold me, Scotty. Hold me up, Scotty. I can barely keep shooting the ball way too much and not passing enough." So yeah. Okay, and then here's the other question I have for the fan zone today. Where does this game tomorrow night rank for you among anticipated hockey games in your life? 780-218-9999. I think gold medal at 2010 Olympics is definitely going to be a popular choice. Stanley Cup Finals Game 7s for Oilers fans, probably going to be a popular choice. But Rick, do you think this game tomorrow night slides into most people's top 10?
Well, unfair question asked before it happens, right? And we didn't know what was. This whole tournament is an unknown. And I think if you canvassed anybody to say what happened Saturday while we were at the EST Funspiel at the Shamrock, that 3 fights are going to take place off the puck drop, and the
that was unbelievable.
So who knows? We're probably in for some other surprise, or maybe not. Maybe it's a case of a final, a one-off, and you saw the United States winning the battle, but Canada ultimately maybe winning the war. Gazzola was in yesterday. We were talking about how on Monday, maybe the momentum kind of swung it a bit. Now, I don't know. I know you just got boots on the ground last night and taking the temperature of the city and the fans there and everything, but it did feel to me, and I know USA lost that game, albeit meaningless, against the Swedes, but the injury talk, just you could kind of feel a bit of a turn in the momentum, at least from where we are here, the 10,000-mile glance or kilometer glance, I guess, being Canadian. But yeah, we'll see what happens afterwards. I know the anticipation is probably one of the most anticipated games. Canada, obviously, the golden goal in 2010. I mean, there's a numerology comparison there into which the Americans beat Canada in that preliminary round, also 3-1. And look what happened in the final. So maybe history repeating itself again, but certainly coming off the heels of Saturday. I mean, the anticipation, I don't know if we've been anticipated as much for a Canada game as this. And you'd have to, fact check me and go back to the anticipation. Now, whatever happens in it, again, we've all said, like, if Canada doesn't come out on this on the winning side, it's the tournament doesn't matter. But, and again, I don't think it's going to, it can't live up to what we saw Saturday, because that was more of a feeling out. The tournament wasn't necessarily on the line at that point, so it'll probably be a little more buttoned down. But certainly the anticipation for this, I think, and given the climate off the ice, I think a lot of things bubbling up, in other places, that adds to it as well. So, yeah, I depending on the result, but the anticipation surely is right up there.
I think from how excited you are for this hockey game, I don't know. Let's ask Trev. Yeah. Trev, you were obviously excited for the tournament. You were very much excited for the Saturday night game, which I tell you, when the first fight happened, the entire Shamrock was just like, oh my God, this is going down. And then when there was another one, I thought we were living in like some sort of Matrix glitch. Right? And then a third one, I was like, well, this is absolutely bloody insane. So, Trev, where does your anticipation level for this game compare to Game 7 Stanley Cup final last year, I guess 2010, when you were essentially still a kid? Where does this one rank?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it ranks pretty high. It ranks really high. Like Game 1 last week versus Sweden, that was probably the most amped, most pumped up I've been for a hockey game since, I'd like to think, like maybe last year's playoffs, I was pretty pumped up, but I'd maybe even go back to the year prior, my first year in Edmonton, where it was just so surreal. There's the on ice stuff, and then there's the off ice stuff, whether you like it or not. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of people will remember this by. But I mean, this is the first time Connor McDavid has been able to rep Team Canada. It's the Four Nations face-off. If it was the Olympics, I feel like it would be more, like I'd be more dialed in, more anticipated, which is crazy because I'm already just so amped for this game. Like, it's crazy. But I mean, I think honestly, in 20 years' time, we're going to be talking about this. I think my generation's going to be like, whoa, remember the Four Nations face-off? Remember Game 1? Like, it was that impactful. Like, it was just so insane. I've never seen anything like it. Just, if you weren't there, everyone stopped curling to watch these fights, and then we go back, and then we stop curling again. It was the craziest thing to be a part of that. Like, that was just so insane. So and there's people talking about hockey that I've never seen before. You see it on TikTok, Instagram, wherever you watch your videos. But there's people saying, "Oh, there's this hockey game going on over the weekend," and I'm a fan. Like it's getting new eyes, which is something that hockey has had some trouble doing for quite some time. So yeah, this is I'm very anticipated for this. It's probably a top 5 for me. I can't wait for this game. And if there was the 2018 Olympics, the 2022 Olympics, I don't think I'd have it this high, though. I will say that.
All right. So if you want to chime in, 780-218-9999. Zulu over in the Nasty Chat says it's a fun tourney, but this is no Oilers Game 7 for me. If you're watching over on YouTube, let's hammer the thumbs up. We're at 134. Let's keep changing those. Colton in Quesnel to the Paris Jewelers inbox today says, guys, to answer this question on where it ranks, it's top 3 for me because I remember Salt Lake in 2002 and Vancouver 2010 lives in my mind rent free. And I think about it once a week, like the Roman Empire. And of course, there's Game 7 from last season. So it might slide in at 3 because it's best on best. And when it's Canada and the USA, it's always a little more special, which I would obviously agree. Hampton Steve texts in this morning and says, 1, 2010 Olympic final, 2, 2002 Olympic final, 3, 2014 Olympic final, 4, Game 7 versus Florida, 5, Game 7 versus Carolina. So the highest this game could rank for him is 6th, is what he is saying. He's not moving it up past any of those, but he would probably have it next on the list. So yeah, interesting to see where people come out. This one is in. It says, guys, the younger you are, the higher this will be on your list. I was born in 85, so it's not even top 10 for me. Olympics in 2002, 2010, Oilers 06, and 2024. The Calgary Hitmen 2010 championship game, and then World Juniors for me. So I love the Calgary Hitmen championship game getting in the mix for some people. That's like
well, and you probably got a couple of
exciting.
Spanglers in there for your own list, I'm sure. Hey, in terms of memories and stuff for you.
Yeah, they'd be up there. I mean, I can't remember the last time. Like, as far as being a fan in the stands go, I have never been to something at this level as being here in Boston for this game tomorrow night. Like, I don't get a chance to go to a lot of things as a fan. So this is pretty exciting stuff. So we'll see it'll be interesting to see how the game goes. They're not gonna have a fight at the puck drop this time. I would be shocked if we see any gloves
Line brawl
come off at all anywhere. Yeah, can you imagine 5v5?
I can.
With that being said, if somebody would have told me before the last game, one of the Kachuk brothers will fight off the puck drop, okay. 2 of them right again, like after, maybe. But then also Miller and Parayko 7 seconds later. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have believed it. Tube Sock says, born in the 60s. This just creeps into my top 10. This one is in to the Parachutes inbox at 780-218-9999 from a 403 number. Says the 1987 Canada Cup final would be number 1 for me. I was 6 years old then, so I don't remember it as much as I watched it a bunch of times because it's absolutely phenomenal game. But that one's just a little bit ahead of me. Library Pat says, you're sitting in the stands, Dusty? No press box? Yeah, I'm here with Coolbet, man. And Coolbet has a suite.
Yeah.
Like we're in like a private box for this game. There's a reason I traveled 16 hours yesterday to get here. And we're in a suite at this game tomorrow night, which is going to be nuts. That's where they got the chicken tendies. Main reason I'm here. It's number 1 on my list.
Far to sit in a seat like some common peasant, hey? I mean, the Coolbet.
Yeah.
We were surprised that Coolbet didn't send the jet to grab you when your travel delays got a little murky.
They very well should have. They should have. You know what? I got a little lucky because, I had completely given up hope. I'd canceled my flights. That was it. And you know who saved this trip for me? I'll give you one guess, Rick. Who do you think saved this trip for me?
Does it rhyme with Bandrew Dadderson?
Yes. Yeah, it rhymes. It rhymes with Rustler. Yeah, I had on Monday. Well, so just quick recap of the last few days here.
First off,
Sunday,
can you backtrack? Yeah, PWHL event. You took the Muzz to that.
I took the Muzz to the PWHL event. We only stayed for 2 periods. That was enough for her. She's 7, but she really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I mean, good hockey for the 2 periods that we saw. So, but I'd already seen when we got to the rink that my flight was going to be delayed for like 2 hours and then 3 hours, and then my flight Sunday night gets canceled. And I was just like, so they rebooked me on a Monday night flight. Like Air Canada's just like, we're going to put you on a Monday night flight. And then we're not going to get you to Boston as quickly as we said, because we're also not going to fly you to Toronto until like mid-afternoon on Tuesday. And I was like, whatever, it's one day, I'll suck it up. And then that plane ends up upside down in Toronto on Monday. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not getting to Pearson today. Like it's impossible. So when they rebooked my flight that time, they booked it for like today. I guess today's Wednesday. And I was just like, man, it's not meant to be. So I canceled the trip. I was very sour. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm not going to be there. And then I had already canceled. I was prepping to do the show in studio on Tuesday. And then like an angel sent from the heavens, a text rolls in from Huss and he goes, "What about this flight out of Calgary?" And I was like, "Huss, you've done it." So then I found this like somewhat, considering it was last minute, somewhat affordable flight. And so then yesterday morning I left it I left around 4:15. And it was like minus 35 or whatever. I was like, I talked to my pickup truck like it was Eleanor and Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage. It was just like, we'll get through this. We're gonna make it down to Calgary together. And pushed all the way down, got on a flight, flew into New York. And when I got to New York, I had like a 3.5-4 hour layover. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I walk off the
Kevin
plane.
McAllister, hey?
Very similar. I was going up and down the walkway at the airport, yelling, "Dad, where are you? You forgot me again." I literally walk off the plane, and there's a Delta Sky Suite, like this big lounge right there. And I was like, oh man, I wish I could go in there. So I'm walking by it and I look and there's a sign, and at the bottom of the sign it says serving WestJet. And I was like, wait a second, because I have like platinum status on WestJet because of CFL travel. So I walk in there like Mike Myers in Wayne's World with like my pass. I'm like, hey, is this cool? Like, can I come in with this? And I think a lot of people just sort of assume Americans are rude, but these people were tremendous. I mean, they were very nice, polite people. And they got me into the suite. So I was in like this lounge for like 3 hours yesterday. It was terrific. And then my flight from New York to Boston was crazy because it was a pretty big plane and it was like 30% full. And I'm sitting there kind of jammed up in a seat. And there was nobody in the emergency row. So I asked the guy, I said, can I go sit right there? They're like, no problem. I was like, what? So I went over, slid into emergency row. It was, it worked out pretty well after having 2 days of flights being delayed. I'll take that. That was okay. That was all right.
And then to the Bell in Hand, hey?
And then I go to the Bell in Hand, one of the oldest pubs in America, if not. They're claiming it's the oldest. I have a hard time believing it's the oldest pub. I don't know. It seems like a pretty outrageous claim to make. Yeah, can we actually... I guess technically you could prove it. I'm going to have to look it up myself.
Well, the sign looked pretty modern to me. It didn't look like it was...
Well, that's what. So I get in there and
booths.
And Huss, I see Huss right away. First thing he says, he goes, "This pub is the oldest pub in America." And I was just like, "What?" He goes, "It's been around since like 1776." And I couldn't help myself. I said, "Huh, interesting. I didn't know they had karaoke back then."
Yeah.
Because it was karaoke back. So it was fun little pub though, for sure. It was a pretty good time. All right, if you're watching over on YouTube today, we are 3 away from changing 150, so let's hammer the thumbs up over there as well. I wanted to get to that Hurts here before 7 o'clock, but I'm going to be a little ranty during that Hurts because of this whole Vladdi Blue Jays. My God, how can an organization be so incompetent at what they like?
You missed yesterday because they were all speaking during the show. It was Vladdi first, then like Atkins, Shapiro, and it was just reading Matheson's quotes were just hilarious. People's definitions of certain words, it changed from person to person. It was great theater.
It's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. So we will get to that just after. We'll have Chris Johnston on for Pro Am Sports. Then maybe we get to that Hurts coming up in hour number 2. Free advice for bunting is on the way. Eric Macramalla will get his thoughts, obviously, on how much he is looking forward to this hockey game tomorrow night. And then we'll get his thoughts on how horrible the Blue Jays are at doing business. I mean, it was a conversation here yesterday when we were at the pub last night. Like, people are boycotting this baseball team, and they just decide that they're just going to go down in flames with this front office. I do not understand it for the life of me. In fact, you know what? It grinds my gears. So we'll get to that coming up in hour number 2. See, so right here, in Ehlers We Trust, over in the Nasty Chat says, the White Horse Tavern in Newport, Rhode Island is the oldest bar in the United States, having opened in 1673. it's also a National Historic Landmark.
Wow.
See, so I think who's going to claim that they're the first, like the oldest pub? You know,
Landmark status certainly jolts it closer to the top. You'd argue.
Yeah, we're having a beverage at a Landmark, and that's kind of neat to say. All right, Chris Johnston is on the way for Pro-Am Sports. Let's get to a sports update right now for Nisku Glass with Lieutenant Eric.
Four Nations face-off final tomorrow from Boston, where Canada will face off against the USA. Canucks defenseman Quinn Hughes. He's expected to show up or be around the American squad prior to tomorrow's final, of course, barring injury. Also sticking with the Canucks, they'll be without goaltender Thatcher Demko for their upcoming 5-game road trip, as he is listed as week-to-week with a lower body injury. Turning to the Oilers, they returned to practice yesterday as Matt Savoy is expected to join the club for its 5-game road trip. That begins Saturday morning in Philly. The 21-year-old has 13 goals and 24 assists in 45 games in the AHL this season. Over to Thunder Bay in the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. The morning draw will feature Alberta's Selena Sturmey taking on New Brunswick. In this evening's draw, Sturmey will face Saskatchewan's Nancy Martin, while Kayla Skurlik will go up against PEI's Jane DiCarlo. Skurlik 4-2 entering play today, while Sturmey's rank are at 3-2 in Pool A. And the NBA regular season schedule gets going again tonight post All-Star break when the Lakers host the Hornets in the lone game. Sports Update brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers, and what better way than to give them a deal. Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for a 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your spring renovation project now.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. To Tutti and Eric and all of the back end. Like Wyshynski and Noodles, Gavdik and Gage. Maybe it's fun but a cool bed to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramalla, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him give a present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
All right, 7:03 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here today. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. The Nielson Show is brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. And go check out their great crew at South Fort Chev. And right now they are offering up a full vehicle 79-point inspection for free for the first 10 people to call and book with the code EST. All right. This is a regular cost of $160. But if you just want to get your vehicle checked out for free, they will do it for you. First 10 people to call and use the code EST will get your inspection for free. 780-998-7883. People love free stuff. CJ in Chicago on YouTube says, Dusty, I went to school in Boston. Time permitting, you need to try Regina's Pizza in the North End. A great slice, nothing fancy, perfect for you. I like how they're like, don't worry, Dusty, it's not a fancy piece of pizza. You'll like it. So yeah, maybe I don't know if I'll have time, but yeah, nothing fancy does sound like something I'd like. I think that's a pretty good idea. We'll see how that goes. All right, the Nielson Show brought to you by South Ford Chevrolet, but our hockey insiders are brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. Check out their upcoming private signings with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Adam Henrique. You can submit your own items or select from theirs, located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, and of course online at proamsports.ca. And of course, they've got the Four Nations gear. They were telling us in an email yesterday that as soon as Canada went up 2-0, jersey sales just started to flying for Thursday, which it's funny. It's funny how that works. All right, let's go to Chris Johnston this morning, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. CJ, appreciate the time. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. That was a recommendation from the listener. I go to Regina's Pizza every time in Boston. I'm in Boston right now. We'll probably be going there in the next 48 hours at some point.
See, I said it incorrectly. I said Regina because I'm Canadian. I didn't know it. So Regina's Pizza is something we got to try. All right, Regina's.
Definitely not fancy. As he said,
like they slice, or is it like just a regular slice?
It's thin, but there's just something about the environment of the place. They give you like these paper plates. Like it really is like going. It's not. There's nothing pretentious about it, but it's a great slice.
It's just a pizza place. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what you're
little grit with your pizza.
All right, CJ, man, we gotta start. What is going on with Quinn Hughes? What is the latest as of 9:06 Eastern time, the day before the game with Quinn Hughes?
Well, what's the latest is they haven't made a decision if he's coming yet, which you start to think, Vancouver's a long way from here. Unless he can time travel, wouldn't get here in time to practice. Can he even play? I don't want to say he's not coming, but it starts to feel the longer, but since when it's not official, that he may not end up joining Team USA after all. And, the rules for this event, this includes when Team Canada dealt with injuries a couple days ago, have been rather fluid. And then you add to the fact, obviously, Quinn Hughes missed the last 4 Canucks games before this break, hasn't been part of the team. And is he really going to fly in and play in a championship game? I mean, there's some drama there. I guess there's always a possibility, but I feel like with each passing hour where that's not a certainty, where he's not on a plane heading this way, it just seems less likely that he's going to be joining this Team USA team.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody was capable of stepping in after not playing a little while, it would be. I mean, he could do it, but it's going to be like we were talking about it earlier on the show today. Like, what's the level of proof of somebody being sick that you need to be like, oh, well, I guess Quinn Hughes can play now? Like, if let's say they really want him in the lineup, Jake Sanderson has an illness. He can't play. Like, do we know what that is? Like, how do you measure that?
Well, I mean, I think you'd need a player to be down with it for it to happen. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to have someone who's willing not to play the game for it to happen. The good news, when Canada did this, no one was questioning it because it was Cale Makar that came out. So no one was saying like, yeah, Canada's trying to open up a spot for Thomas Harley. No offense to Thomas Harley, by sitting Cale Makar out of the game against the US they did last weekend. You're right. It gets a little more murky when in this case, you're viewing it as a clear roster upgrade. I don't know what that looks like behind the scenes. Like, quite honestly, I think that the league and the Players Association are just trying to do what's fair. They don't want a team to play shorthanded. The U.S. had to play its last game against Sweden with that, down a skater, just because they do have some injury situations. I don't think anyone wants to see that in a final. Quinn Hughes was part of the original U.S. lineup too, right? He was named to the roster in December, of course. So, I think he wants to play. I think Team USA wants to find a way for him to play, but it's not clear to me that the Canucks are, signing off on this either. I mean, Quinn Hughes skated in Vancouver yesterday in non-contact jerseys. So, I don't even know if he's cleared from his own NHL team to play in this, let alone all the rules or rule bending that's getting done at the Four Nations itself.
Chris, I know Dusty probably wanted to get to some TV numbers and just the general interest. You are there. You've been following this tournament quite closely. But to the game tomorrow, this all boils down to goaltending, right? I mean, Saturday seems so long ago. The fights, the anticipation for that, and once it happened, we all saw just both teams going at it. But championship game, Binnington's done it there in that building in a one-off before. He's trying to make it for the Olympic squad. Hellebuck having the season he's having. Does it all just boil down to these two between the pipes come tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think that's an aspect. I mean, for me, Canada didn't generate enough offensively. They only scored the one goal against the U.S., but I don't think they had a whole pile of chances in that game. The U.S. blue line is pretty stout. Even guys like Jacob Slavin maybe don't get as much attention, but Canada didn't really create enough in that game. It was a game when I was watching it, quite honestly, in the moment last Saturday, I was like, man, they could use a Zach Hyman or someone on this team, maybe just creating a little more chaos around the net because, trying to make pretty plays was not getting it done. The U.S. Was just playing so well defensively. So, I think it is a combination of goaltending, but Canada's got to put the puck in the net too. And for me, Binnington has kind of been what I expected in this tournament. I mean, there's obviously a couple goals, in the moment you're like, well, you wish that one didn't go in. That was a savable shot. But, we're not bringing, peak Carey Price to this tournament. This isn't, with respect to Binnington, this isn't a surefire Hall of Famer playing for Team Canada. So, it was not a positional strength, I'd call it, for the Canadian team. And yet, in saying that, I don't feel as though, I think he's played well enough for them to win each of the games. I mean, he's still only let in 2 goals in the game against the U.S. on the weekend. And so, to me, Canada's got to plan on scoring 3 when the night begins, 3 minimum to come out with a win.
And how much, Cale Makar's absence always looms large, whether you're the Avalanche or Canada or whatever, but if he was in Saturday, how much does that change that result for you in mentioning the scoring and just the breakout of the zone?
Yeah, it's huge. He steps back in the lineup against Finland, plays, I think it was 24 minutes or so. He slots everyone down a peg, essentially, and, he's just so... He calms the game down for Canada. And, I think at this level in particular, where you have really great players on all 4 lines. Canada's 4th line has something like 60 combined goals in the NHL this season. When you have great transition play, that's where it gets done. Canada's done a fair bit of scoring off the rush in this tournament when it has scored goals, and that usually begins with a nice breakout. Even in the game where they got that one goal that McDavid scored, the beautiful one, it's Doughty, hitting with the pass and speed into the neutral zone there, and then McDavid makes the elite play he can. So, I think Makar is massive to that. Obviously, he is going to play in the championship game, which is good news for Canada. And, I just have a hard time. Maybe it's the Canadian in me shining through here after being around this event for 10 days, but I have a hard time imagining Canada losing to the U.S. twice in a row in this tournament. It's not that I don't think the U.S. is a good team, but, I do think that's going to be a tall task. The way it kind of is in the NFL, you see teams, rarely beat your division opponent twice or a third time if you face them in the playoffs. I just think for Canada, this sets up as a opportunity to avenge the loss that happened at the Bell Center on Saturday.
Chris Johnston joins us on the show this morning, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. CJ, you've covered Sidney Crosby's entire career in the National Hockey. Like, you've been around for all of it. So how crazy is it that this team has McKinnon and McDavid, and I'm still sitting here being like, I think 37-year-old Sidney Crosby is going to end up being the difference maker against the United States in this final. Like, it's just, we don't get to watch a ton of Penguins games, man, but it's ridiculous the level that he's still playing at right now.
It's insane. And you haven't had a lot of reasons to watch Penguins games the last few years. That's kind of the sad part of the story is, Sid's a pretty loyal guy. I don't know if he's ever going to get his mind around the possibility of trying to give it one more go somewhere else at a cup. But, based on his performance, based on, even if you look at his numbers the last few seasons, like, he could clearly still be a top player on a top team in the NHL. But the Penguins had tried to win for 18 years where he was the captain there, and that's made the last couple of years not so great. There's a price to be paid for trading away your draft picks at every deadline. The fact he's come here as the oldest player in the tournament, he's tied for the tournament in the scoring lead, but I think his impact on the team goes even deeper than things like that. And it's pretty special. It makes me even more excited for next year's Olympics because unless something weird happens, that's probably going to be his final time wearing the Canadian jersey. And he's got a chance to go down. No matter what happens, his career is ridiculous. But he's got a chance at potentially a 3rd Olympic gold medal. Even winning something like this event, I just think it adds to everything he's done. World Juniors, a World Championship, the World Cup in 2016. Everywhere this guy's played with the Canadian crest on his chest, he's just done a ton of winning. And it's not easy to do. Like, at the end of the day, these tournaments always come down to one game eliminations. You get to the Olympics, there's a quarterfinal, semifinal, a gold medal game. Like, you got to sort of win 3 game 7s. You know, it's rubber on ice. Like, weird things happen. It's hard to win, I guess what I mean. And there's some coin flips in these games. And the fact Canada's just done so much winning with Crosby. To me, it's not a coincidence. And he's still finding a way to have an impact where, frankly, he's playing with a bunch of guys that grew up cheering for him and idolizing him, which is just, you know, it's a rare thing to accomplish.
CJ, before we let you go, I saw you tweeting about the numbers. Over 10 million people watched that last game, almost 6 million in Canada, over 4 million in the United States. It's been a whirlwind, I think, of, you know, a 10-day tournament, but obviously the NHL is loving the exposure that it is getting. 2 questions, I guess. What do you think that number is going to be like for this final game? And do you think it trickles down in the United States to get more eyes on the rest of the regular season down here?
I hope so. You know, I think it's hard to know. Like, is this just a moment in time where this thing's captured the attention of people maybe who wouldn't normally watch a hockey game? I don't know what the trickle down is. I mean, I hope on some level that it means that there's just more kids somewhere out there that want to play hockey, that they see something like this, that it connects with them, that it makes them want to play the game. Because, you know, that's long-term for a sport. You need people to want to keep playing it. You need to keep producing athletes. You need, you know, you want the best athletes to gravitate towards where you go. But this is definitely, this has exceeded by far what the NHL was expecting. You know, even Canada, Sweden delivered 4 million viewers the very first game. That was when no one knew what the tournament would be like. That was, I was told by someone who would know, at least double what the NHL expected that night. And then it's just growing exponentially as the games go along here. You know, I could see them close to doubling the 10 million to 20 million. You know, this is, I've been around a lot of NHL events. I've earned these gray hairs in the beard, guys. I've never kind of experienced anything quite like this. Like, there's talk that Donald Trump could be at the game tomorrow. You know, my dad was watching CNN this morning. He sent me a text. He said they're talking about this game on CNN. Like it's just, it's kind of reached a level, I guess, of cultural relevance that you just don't see hockey. I mean, we all love hockey. We don't have to sell hockey to people in Edmonton. We don't have to sell hockey to people in Toronto, right? Like, it's just, we grew up with the game. We watch it and you know, we love it as it is. But I think this is 100% going beyond the normal demographic. It comes at a great time. I mean, we're on the other side of the Super Bowl. There's nothing else going on. It seems like there's a foot of snow getting dropped every day on our country. So, I mean, what else are you doing on Thursday night? You might as well watch the game. And if you told me it gets to 20 million across North America, I don't think that's a reach, quite honestly. I think that this is going to be just one of these special moments but then we go to the regular season games on Saturday. Like, it might just be back to normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's it's hard for me to say that all of a sudden you're going to be watching an Islanders Devils game after watching Canada US in this final. I don't see that happening.
Chris, as always, man, really appreciate the time. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Yep. Regina's buddy. Get there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get there this afternoon. That might be on the radar. There you go. That's Chris Johnston, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. You know what, the one thing, and I don't know if I wanted to talk about this last week. And I don't want, like, you don't want this to come across as like a slight to guys who are in the National Hockey League. But I mean, going back to watching regular season action with regular season 3rd and 4th liners, as opposed to the 3rd and 4th lines for these teams right now at this event, it's going to be a major buzzkill, Rick. Major buzzkill.
You want more of this. You want more of this. I talked with Will last week, and he brought up the point that obviously the answer to anything is always money, and owners wanting their buildings full every second night. But picture this. In terms of qualification for World Cups or Olympics or whatever big tournament you're going to do, have a couple of international breaks during the season where you get a week off and say Edmonton hosts a Canada v. Finland. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of things to do, PA, money, owners probably know you would sign on. But, I mean, you're getting more of that best on best. As Chris Johnston said, like, nothing against NHL players and 3rd and 4th liners. And everybody cheers for their team colors or the crest, whatever represents their city. But what you've seen and the numbers you're seeing here, you got to do a little more something with this instead of just a 2-week, week and a half, couple of game tournament, right? Now, I know we get the World Cup coming back, and I know the Olympics, and those are the ones. But even if you had, say, qualifiers for seeding or whatever, I mean, those games would matter. I mean, in the long run, in the long stretch of seeding for these tournaments. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a tease, and to go back to again watching a from the Prudential Center in a boring old Eastern Conference matchup on a 5:00 puck drop on a Thursday night. More of this. That's what everybody wants. So there's got to be a way to kind of get there, not daily or weekly, but at least maybe a couple of times during a calendar year.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 if you would like to chime in with your thoughts on this. Over in the Nasty Chat as well, we're 14 away from changing 200, so let's hammer those right now. I should just do this all the time, having the live thumbs up updating. I love, kind of gets me pretty excited.
Makes your day.
It does. It makes my day watching this, watching that number click up towards 200. Let's see here. RCN over in the Nasty Chat says season should be over at Christmas. Playoffs in January, then a 26-game World Series of Hockey Championships tournament.
Sure.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? Jared says, guys, it's so dumb to me that the NHL is surprised by the numbers of a best-on-best tournament. The people that run this league are idiots. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to disagree with you on the people that run the league are idiots side of things. Yeah, a little surprised when Johnston said that they were expecting like 2 million people to watch it. And when it hit 4 million, they were kind of blown away a little bit. So,
can you imagine if this tournament was stretched out though? Like you added a couple of more games, maybe like a Team Europe, and it took place all during the season where you got like a weekend. I know it's condensed, and I know you had to work the numbers, but just spitballing and kind of creatively thinking this morning, there's got to be a way to get more of it to us, right?
I would sure like to see it. Yeah, I would sure like to see that. 780.
So you wouldn't expect it, eh?
This one is in. It says, guys, just a thought and a question. If there wasn't booing of the anthem, the fights between the teams, and the possible trade war between the two countries, would this game be talked about on CNN having this many eyes on the tournament, or is it just right place, right time? Your thoughts? That's in from Lucas. I mean, this game is happening at a very interesting point.
Well, it's also a dark spot on the sports calendar.
History,
the North American
yeah.
sports calendar is like
post Super Bowl blues. NBA returns tonight. I mean, you'll have basketball people watching games.
Pitchers and catchers, spring training, NFL free agency, just kind of getting out of the chute. Nothing collegiate wise down south.
I think the CNN question is interesting. Because it's easy for them to tie it all together.
Bill Guerin did yesterday.
Bill. What did Bill Guerin say? He wants to see Donald Trump at the game.
Yeah, I mean, he said talk of them taking over our country has propelled his nation's team. So there's that as well. But we have to keep the politics out of it. Don't boo.
No. Well, first of all, do whatever the hell you want. I know I work for TSN and so does Jesse Pollock, but guy was an idiotic take last week. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade. I thought it was a god-awful take last week. If you want to boo. I mean, who cares? Whatever. But for the National Hockey League to have the sitting president of the United States in attendance for the final of this Canada-USA, or the final of this event with Canada and USA there, I don't know if it's going to happen. CJ just said, there's some talk about it happening. I mean, whatever you think of the guy, the fact that if the president of the United States is at this game, it's good news. It's good for the National Hockey League, simple as that. So, that'll be interesting being in the building to see how all that plays out on Thursday night. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in today, and lots of good text messages that we'll continue to try to sort through. Guys, I'm sure this has been mentioned, but what about this for a best on best? Team North America versus Team Europe. Safety Bob, thank you very much for the text. It's simply not the same. This was what I said last week before the tournament even started. This is about putting on the Canadian jersey. This isn't about representing North America versus the rest of the world. That won't work. that would lead to all-star type efforts, in my opinion. To me, this whole thing is about putting on the Canadian jersey. It was when it started. I don't know how the NHL couldn't have expected better numbers when we've been bitching about not getting McDavid and Crosby together for 8 years. And then we finally get them together and the NHL's like, wow, look at everybody watching. Like that's kind of ridiculous. 780-218-9999. I like Tube Sock says, what if he can't score a ticket? Isn't it sold out? That's a good point. I mean, he's probably going to fansfirst.ca. Buy fans for fans. At least in Canada.
Maybe room in the suite.
Yeah, it's full. I don't think there's any room in the Cool Bet suite. Speaking of Cool Bet, and if you want to hop on, go to coolbet.com. If you're not yet signed up for an account, use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. This was my favorite bet in the game on Saturday. I'm going to run it back now. I don't have the exact number up in front of me. I cannot access CoolBet in this the state that I'm in right now.
What do you need?
I want Connor McDavid first period point. It was plus 300 or plus 310 on Saturday. I'm curious to see what it is at now. Connor McDavid, this is a legacy game for Connor McDavid. And he just had a legacy game. What would that be? 6, 7, 8 months ago now? And it didn't go the way that you would expected a Connor McDavid legacy game to go. I think that'll be a little bit different this time around. So I'm loving Connor McDavid for a first period point against the United States on Thursday. And it's really good value. I don't know if the first period points are up yet, but when they are, you're going to want to ride with me on that one for sure. And I'll be sliding. So today the Lock Shop also will be live from Boston. The Lock Shop will be done in Hustler's Room. So entering that world should be kind of crazy. Huss is just this guy.
Will you both be in robes? You got to do it both in robes, please.
You know what? We should do robe show. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So Huss, I get into Boston last night, go to this pub, having a beverage, catching up, and he goes, "Man, I almost missed my flight here too." I said, "What? Weather related?" He goes, "No, I just got really hammered on Saturday night watching Canada and the U.S." And he goes, and I love Huss. He goes, My parents always drive me to the airport. He goes, and my dad's calling me on Sunday morning at like 9:05. He's like, Andrew, is everything okay? And like Huss slept through his alarms, and his mom and dad had to wake him up to take him to the airport so he could come out to Boston for the Four Nations. He's telling me this story last night, and I was killing myself laughing. I was just like, my God. Andrew. So if his parents weren't picking him up to take him to the airport, Huss probably wouldn't even be here right now, which is kind of funny. That's not kind of funny. It's very funny. He's one of a kind.
Kevin McAllister in a sense.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like I was going to, so we got back here around, I don't know, 2:00. This time, so like midnight Edmonton time, and I was just like, you know what, it's good. Show doesn't start till a little bit later, whatever. I was being responsible coming up to go to the room, so I grabbed a quick bite to eat, and as I'm coming back up to the room, there's Huss coming off the elevator, like going to because we're in like really fancy hotel with a casino down here, the Encore in Boston, and it was very late at night. Huss was just like, going to the casino for a bit. I was like, man, he's got that perfectly scheduled show. Like it doesn't start until 3:00 Eastern. So he's got a little bit more of a longer leash than I do, I guess I'd say when we're down here. Anyway, he's a one of one. I told him that last night. See you in the chat. I said to Huss, I said, you are a one of one. Like it's just, my dad had to wake me up to get me to the airport on time. It's just like, what do you do with that guy?
I just wake him up. They went up to his room, right? Like it was And eat your breakfast.
Knock, knock. Andrew,
wake
it's
up.
time to go to the airport. Leave me alone, Mom. Oh, this guy. All right, we got free advice coming up for Damon Bunting. Macramalla is going to pop by. Had a few Macramalla intros start to trickle in. Well, changing 200, and you know what? This will be a nice day right here. Hammer that. Keep that thumbs up moving at 780-218-9999. Did have some Macramalla intros roll in today. EST legal analyst and guy who got fired from his job as a TV writer due to the uncomfortably long sex scene he wrote for Mr. Dress Up, Eric Macramalla.
Oh, my wrist.
EST legal analyst and guy who always green screens famous adult films on his Zoom meeting backgrounds. At EST legal analyst and guy who is following Team Canada's lead and instantly fighting any American he sees, Eric Macramalla. I think those are all from Tommy Rubella today. So TR getting us going with some pretty good Macramalla intros. Free advice coming up. Still got to get to that hurts. Still got to get to that's good. But the show is cruising along. Let's get to a sports update right now for Park Mazda. And what do you need help with? Free advice is on the other side here. What do you need help with? We will get you the advice you need, and it won't cost you a thing. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 to get in with what you need help with. 780-218-9999. EST legal analyst and guy who thinks that muster points are a scam, Eric Macramalla. Let's get to the update here with Rick.
Changing 200.
Four Nations face-off final goes tomorrow from Boston when Canada face off against the United States. Quinn Hughes' status on standby. He may not even travel to Boston now. It's expected that he might draw in if there are any more American injuries, but as of right now, it doesn't look like he'll get there. But Canada-US tomorrow, that will be the final. Of course, sticking with the NHL, the Oilers returned to practice yesterday. Matt Savoy expected to join the club for its 5-game road trip beginning Saturday in Philadelphia. The 21-year-old, 13 goals and 24 assists in 45 games in the AHL this season. Savoy also joined by Derek Ryan at practice yesterday, as both players, however, weren't officially recalled, just taking places due to the Four Nations face-off. Scotty's Tournament of Hearts continuing from Thunder Bay last night and into today. The morning draw will feature Alberta Selena Sturmey. She is on the rink against New Brunswick. In the evening draw, Sturmey will face Saskatchewan, while Kayla Skurlik's rink will go up against PEI. Skurlik enters play at 4-2 today, while Sturmey's rink are 3-2 in Pool A. And the regular season resumes tonight in the NBA with one game. The Lakers are at home to the Charlotte Hornets. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he is counting down the minutes till the Four Nations face-off final tomorrow between Canada and the USA.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
It's the Halloo Crew. Normally, my show will have new. Here we go, we got station brew. Money Orlando got one too. It's the Halloo Crew. Don't ask what second mind I do. Intellectual feels they're screwed. They can turn you with that glue. Keep the car and diesel. Go back because it's illegal. So they have to so sequel. You laughing just like we will. We can play together. We'll check the slow back to the one thing known was just like a line of gold or maybe silver. It's the Halloo Crew. Here's the story about tomorrow. And Tommy doing a cameo. Sometime from morning radio. The Halloo Crew. Rumpy cat from Crown Prairie. Find me in Orlando. The north side Normandie. Schadenfreude, the happiness of Mother's Day, avoid. They take pleasure in your hammer.
9:35 on the Nielson Show, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Visit their website, www.southfortchev.com, and call them right now at 780-998-7883. That's 780-998-7883. The first 10 nasties to call and book with the code EST will get a full vehicle 79-point inspection that usually costs $160. You will get that for free. Do you like free things? Then give them a call. 780-998-7883. Rick, I think I just made a big time mistake here.
Oh boy.
And I guess I should have asked for advice before I did this. But like this, I'm in a very fancy hotel, and they've got like a huge tray of like mini bar things, but it's just sitting out.
You Indiana
and I went
Jones, you were going up to it and kind of shaking and
no,
what to take.
but I lifted one up, and they're on sensors. And I didn't even eat any, but I put it back down, and now I'm like, damn it, I think I screwed up big
You've
time.
ruined Cool Bet.
Well, what was interesting was I went over there because, there's what is there? There's candy, there's some fancy potato chips,
jelly beans.
There's in like a little cardboard box, there's a phone charger that if you need a phone charger, but then there's this other one that's just a sec. I'm not going to grab it because I can't, but just a sec. I want to see what it says.
There's a great chair there in the background, a couch, if you will.
I just hit my knee on this.
Oh, boy.
Ow. Oh. Ow.
Should we go to break?
Sorry, guys. I hit this is like a marble desk, and I just smashed my knee on it. Anyway, I went over there. That hurts. Hey, that hurts.
James H. Brown, injury lawyers when accidents happen.
The injury lawyers.
Call right now. Call Trent right now. I smashed my knee. Marble desk, Boston. Help.
Oh, that really hurt. Anyway, it's so this tray of like snacks and stuff has something called an intimacy kit. And I was like, what could that be? So I went and looked at it. It's got something to keep you safe, I guess. In a kit right here at the hotel. Like it's in the room.
Oh, like a ball gag and a leather type of tight leather.
Anyway, it's but I screwed up because I picked it up. I picked it up to see what it was, and now the sensor probably went. And now the Cool Bag guys are going to think that I activated the intimacy kit, which is a backfire.
Kurt on a grader asks, did your reflexes kick in when you hit that knee?
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what it was. I mean, that hurt. Ow. All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Gold Medal Mark says, live Peter Griffin. Better than the new Jaunty tune. This one says, hotel needs medical supplies. Is that Dusty injury rant or Peter Griffin getting injured? Yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
in the third hour, you'll fight a chicken. For the entire
legitimately
hour.
hurt me. If I have to, I guess. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let's get the free advice. What do you need help with? Text us into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Free advice brought to you by Damon Bunting. He's been a busy boy lately, selling houses and traveling a little bit as well. But if you're moving, you need a new home, or you're selling a new home, or selling your home, Bunting's your guy. You want to do business with good people, Damon Bunting is definitely one of them. Simple
I think
as that.
you also have to do advice today in a Bostonian accent. So anybody wanting advice, you have to give it to them from a Boston kind of accent. Because I know you can do them. You've seen enough films.
Thanks, man. all my advice today will be coming in wicked hot. That's the only thing it's the only one I got.
Yeah,
it's the only one. You know what I'm going to do later on today? I'm going to watch The Departed from my wicked fancy hotel room here. That's all I got. That's all I got. All right. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999. 218-9999. And if you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. My leg is in a severe amount of pain right now. People think it's funny when people get hurt. They laugh at it. So at least hammer the thumbs up for us, I guess. All right, let's get to a few here. I love this one. Dusty, would you trade Terry McLaurin for Drake London in a keeper league? God.
Wow.
What is it? It's 7:40 Edmonton time on the day before the Four Nations, and people are still texting in fantasy football questions. I love you. I love you. It's exciting. Look, I think you probably should, but I wouldn't. I love Terry McLaurin. You know it. He finally has a quarterback that's going to get him the ball a ton.
He's your Kyle Pitts.
Keeper league, in a keeper league, Drake London is younger. Yeah, Kyle Pitts. My God, enough of this Kyle Pitts bounce back talk. I tweeted the other day.
Wait.
In order to bounce back, you've had to at least make a level of somewhat relevance. Kyle Pitts has just become like the biggest tight end bust of a generation. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that frustrated me the other day. I would hang on to Terry McLaurin, but in a keeper league, you should probably trade Terry McLaurin for Drake London. Pains me to say it, but probably should. 780-218-9999. What do you need help with? We will continue with this conversation. Here's a good one. Guys, my office partner at work has awful BO. Should I say something? It's not that big of office. Ugh. What do you think?
Maybe you communicate through the way of gift and just keep bringing in soaps and loofahs and no occasion.
Yeah, that might be the best way around it. Try to get. It could be a woman, I guess. I don't know. I'm sort of assuming it's a big old stinky man.
Yeah.
Could possibly try to get them into the candle game. Like, is it Gager? Like, Gager does the odd candle at work.
Yeah, Grandpa's pipe.
Maddie does the odd candle at work. Like, I got a little bit of time for that one.
Is it BO or like Sheldon S wants no pit stick? I mean, if you bring it, is the person just not applying?
Well, it's the text says awful BO. So
it's got to be from Wash, maybe.
What about this? You chloroform the person, and then while they're out, you put deodorant on when they're out.
Yeah,
every morning. That might be what you have to do.
Just a gentle placement of a Febreze canister somewhere in the office, just to kind of lay down a marker.
Yeah, that could work as well, I guess. 780-218-9999. If you need any advice, we've got you covered here. Vincent Vander says, just cover the roof in car air fresheners, like in that movie the apartment in the movie 7. Yes, that will work. I think that's
hey, don't knock the air freshener. You can put them anywhere, right? They're not just for the car. You can put them in sealed rooms, or they're a 5-tool player.
Tom Dixon's mustache following up on Hustler's parents waking him up for his trip to Boston. Does Huss's mom pack meatloaf for the road for him as well? I do like the idea of Huss in the back of his parents' car being driven to the airport and be like, did you bring me any breakfast? That would be funny. I think that's, as somebody said, if I could live anybody else's life, it would be Hustlers.
Huss and his Jets jammies, the top and the bottom.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, too good. He said he tells me to tell me that story. He goes, it was the best example of sheets to the streets in the history of the game. He goes, I was in bed. He goes, I'd already packed everything up. My jerseys were packed for the trip, and I just parents had to wake him up to get him to the airport. So, that was funny. I wonder if his parents at the airport go and tell like the attendant, like, this is our son. He's traveling by himself. So if anybody could please look after him on the flight, that would be great to make sure he gets to where he's going. You know what I mean?
The attendant's always just monitoring him. Hey.
That would be funny too. All right, there you go. That's free advice for David Bunting. I like the idea of going like the apartment in 7 and just having air fresheners hanging from the roof, hundreds of them. It would probably work out pretty well.
Send a message.
Yeah. Eric Macramalla should be joining us. Since I am remotely connected today as well, I will see him when he does pop up. Can we get to that's good right now? Let's go. Actually, you know what? No, let's do That Hurts, because that'll tie in nicely to when Macramalla joins us. Let's get into That Hurts for the great staff over at James H. Brown. If you've been injured in an accident, James H. Brown, I mean, we don't even need to tell you. You know, it's as simple as that. If you've been injured in an accident, James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law, will get you the settlement you deserve. All right. Injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. Here's what hurts. And then we're going to bring in Eric Macramalla. What hurts is being a Toronto Blue Jays fan and watching all this Vladdi stuff go down. I mean, it's just enough's enough. I talked to a bunch of Blue Jays fans when we got to the pub here in Boston last night, and they're just like, we're done. Like they're boycotting. Like it's ridiculous. Like you try to go out and spend $700 million on Ohtani. Then you try and go and get Juan Soto. And, it's Rogers, and they got all this money, and they're going to go get these big fish. And you can't even take care of your in-house guys? Like, what are we doing here? It's ridiculous. And the fact that front office continues to make decisions for the organization is pathetic. It's pathetic. It hurts. It hurts to see it. And then, of course, the first thing that pops up, because we already talked about it a couple of months ago, the first thing that pops up yesterday when I hop on X or whatever is Red Sox led to believe front runner in the next off-season Vladdi Guerrero sweepstakes. And I'm just like, how stupid can you look if you're the Toronto Blue Jays? It is the segment's called That Hurts. It should be called This Really Pisses Me Off. Simple as that. It's just.
Yeah. Or I'm not shocked.
Yeah. I mean, that could also be a name for the segment. Like, it's just, well, at least they got Scherzer. Like,
You got it.
Even right now, even my iPad is just throwing this in my face. Like, I'm looking at my iPad right now and the one little app I have. Blue Jays strike out on chance for win-win Guerrero Jr. deal. Failure to align on value clouds future for Guerrero and the Jays. It's just, let's bring in Eric Macramalla. He joins us. Let's get some Macramalla intros, actually. We got a few really good ones here, and then we'll bring in Macramalla for the great staff at Park Mazda. EST legal analyst and guy who's following Team Canada's lead and instantly fights any American he sees, Eric Macramalla. EST legal analyst and guy who thinks that muster points are a scam, Eric Macramalla. EST legal analyst and guy who decided to take his Macklemore tribute act, Macramalla out on dinner theater circuit. And EST legal analyst and guy who thinks Dua Lipa is the Italian name for hopscotch. He joins us on the show this morning. Macramalla, good morning. How are you, sir?
My man, it's so nice to see you. I don't know where you are, but I assume where you are. And this is an old reference. For those who are loyal to the show, I assume you paid $4 for a meatball.
Man, that was a great meatball, though. That was a huge meatball. And it was $8, but that was a big meatball.
How many years ago was that? That was a long time ago.
That was been over a decade since I had that meatball.
Yeah, and that shows how far back we go.
Yeah,
shows how far back we go.
I'm staying in a hotel suite in Boston that I'm assuming you would stay in. Like, it is this is fancier than my house that I live in right now at home. Like, I think there's probably a second level to my hotel room.
Are you going to the Four Nations final? Is this what you're doing?
Yeah. I arrived in Boston yesterday, so I'm in Boston, ready to go for the Four Nations final tomorrow.
Now, are you there on a media pass?
No, I'm here in a suite with our partners at Coolbet.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, they've got a suite at the game, so we'll be in the.
Well, thanks for the invite. I'm sure Eric doesn't feel excluded either.
No,
never.
It's how long is the drive from Ottawa to Boston?
Drive?
Yeah, it's a thing you do
for
in a
those who
car.
take their car when they travel.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
How long
I
does your
apologize.
private jet take to fly?
Ottawa to Boston is 8 hours. Yeah,
Not
the flight
bad.
the flight's about an hour.
Yeah.
If you want to invite me, I will come down. I will
Yeah.
book my flight and I will come. So speak to your people because I will be there. I will be there.
We may have some extra room in the suite. Who knows? We'll see. All right.
But not to clean it. I want to be clear.
Yeah, definitely.
You look at
You're
me.
not there to clean it.
I don't know what he's. But I'm in. I want to let you know. But I am in. I could just go at the drop of a hat, please.
What a life. All right. So you caught the tail end of my rant there about the Blue Jays.
I did, but are you surprised? What have I been saying to you now for like a month? Tell me what I've been saying to you.
Well, I know the Blue Jays get used. Stars don't go there. But when you have
but not the Stars don't go there because he's already there. But
yeah.
what I've been saying to you, and I first raised this what I thought was a likelihood during the season that he was not going to go back. He was not going to go back only because he's the only tier 1 first baseman entering his year 27 season. A lot of big market teams like the Red Sox and Mets are going to need a first baseman. Alonso's on a 2-year deal with an opt-out, but I don't think that even matters at all. You can trade him. There are just too many big teams that need a first baseman. The Yankees have Paul Goldschmidt, who I think is 92 years old. So when you have that opportunity, the best advice you're going to get is you swing at the fences with the incumbent team, make them overpay, or at the free agent market. I'm telling you, Vladdi playing at Fenway Park is just so much better for his legacy and so much better for him as a ball player. I'm not being critical of Canada. I'm an Expos fan, but I haven't been wrong all along about Sasaki and Ohtani and now Vladdi. And I know when I raised it initially, I think it was TSN 690. I was like, guys, I don't think he's coming back. And they're like, what? And they went crazy. And I'm like, well, this is not an emotional decision. We react emotionally, but for him, once you become comfortable with the idea of leaving, you're the only team you've ever known. Once you hit that point, Dustin, you're gone. I see it at work all the time that people don't want to leave. Then they get comfortable with the idea. And then once they have, they're as good as gone. He is not going to come back and never was.
So are you basically saying that, like, is this on the Jays then? Or was just going to happen? Is this on the front office, or is this doesn't matter what they did? See you later anyway.
I have a lot of difficulty giving this front office the benefit of the doubt, only because the guy in charge can't pronounce his own name. He pronounces Shapiro. It's really Shapiro. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. And then they have to sign Santander. No, it's Santander. All right, Shapiro, for crying out loud. So I think that's the first thing. You can't pronounce your name. You're an idiot. But I dug up the numbers yesterday. Atkins and the only duo less successful than Atkins and Shapiro are Sonny and Cher. They are under 500, right? They are under 500 since, 2017 or 16 or whenever he came over. He is someone that is, he's not frugal, but he thinks so much of value, and he can't. He's not amenable to change. The issue is in Major League Baseball, first basemen are not valued, right? Peter Alonso wasn't valued because he's had the most home runs over the past 4 seasons, but he doesn't get on base. But first baseman's not going to consider a premium position. Premium position's the left side of the infield, right? Center field, left field. The issue here is Vladdi is 25 years old. He'll be 27 when he starts the season next season. And he'll give you 35 home runs, 100 RBIs, an OBP of 360. Those are great numbers. And for a lot of really high value teams, that's the missing piece. So it's not that they didn't want to overpay him. They simply treated him as if he was part of a balance sheet, and that value attributed, that dollar value, made no sense for the team. But I think they're just plainly wrong, to be honest with you, because he goes, what happens? This team becomes irrelevant.
That's the thing, right? That's what I said last night. I said, to me, you need to pay him whatever he wants for the business, to keep your organization relevant. Because if Vladdi goes, they're going to try to throw money to this guy. They're going to try to throw money at this guy. They're going to choose, and they're going to I think Not that Vladdi's carried them to multiple World Series champions or anything, but if he leaves, you just said it. How are you relevant still? How do the Blue Jays stay relevant?
I think,
I don't get it.
I agree. I think there are two kinds of relevance in sports, right? You can have a good team, but be largely irrelevant, right? You don't really connect or resonate with the fan base. I think the greater danger here is you're looking at an LA Clippers kind of irrelevance, a New York Jets kind of irrelevance. The Blue Jays farm system is among the worst in Major League Baseball. I went to Syracuse last year to see a game. There wasn't a single player on the AAA team that was any good, right? Or in Buffalo. The farm system doesn't have really a lot of up and comers. That's why they're ranked near the very bottom. You have that issue. You have the issues the Major League Baseball roster can't score runs to begin with. And what is Shapiro, who can't pronounce his own damn last name? What does he do? He has this experiment of gloves over bats. We knew it didn't work at the time. We knew it was not going to work. He goes out, doubles down by trading for Jimenez. Jimenez's on-base percentage last year was .298. That's a good batting average. That's a terrible on-base percentage. Yeah, he's won a Gold Glove 3 straight years. Like 305. So you might hit 25 to 30 home runs, drive in 80. You mark my words on that. But he's not going to get on base a lot. He's going to strike out a lot. And you replace him. I don't understand the decisions they have made with respect to roster construction. I'm not a fan of the Blue Jays. I'm a baseball fan. I'm an Expos fan waiting for my team, but I pay attention to the game. And based on what I have seen over the past 5 years, this management regime is inept. They are inept. Any on-field manager whose winning percentage is below 500 is fired. But somehow, when you're the ones making the decisions, you're not. That's a double standard.
I love this message from Sailor over in the Nasty Chat. Says, I supported them when Shea Hillebrand was the big signing in the offseason, and when Josh Towers was supposed to be the next big thing. Until Shatkins is gone, I'm gone. And I think that's what'll have to happen.
Terrible, look, there's no in my estimation. We've been sports fans a long time. We could talk about it more in Boston when you invite me, right? But I've been a sports fan a long time. So while the people and the players have changed, the players meaning the actors, it's all the same. This is ultimately going to be a fireable offense for the team, okay? Or for Shapiro and Atkins. Atkins doesn't inspire any level of confidence in a press conference. If that was a lawyer I was working with, I would look for a different lawyer to work with, right? Because all I would do is punch him in the face. But Shapiro is so smug and condescending. I'm like, I can understand why Vladdi didn't get the warm and fuzzy from him, right? It's everybody wants to feel validated. Everybody wants to feel loved and accepted and part of the fray. And there's something about the manner in which Shapiro carries himself, which is an issue. But that aside, the data, the numbers, the record undermine any argument that he's good at what he does now. He was good in Cleveland to start. Last 5 years were not good, and he's not good here. This will be a fireable offense. Not now, but this will be a fireable offense.
Eric Macramalla with us on the show this morning. How excited are you for this hockey game? I know.
Well, I'm going to be there with you, so that's going to be so much fun. If you can get me there, you would make me so happy. I mean, it was interesting because today, remember last week I showed you the Christmas card that you sent me with you, Will with one L, and Eric. Yeah. Today, I opened up my little place. It's in the little closet for my jacket, and this had never happened before. And it was jarring. It fell down. The photo was no longer taped to the inside. It fell down. I said, "Oh no! Oh my God! Is it over between Dustin, Eric, and I?" And I have to start going on Will's show, which competes with you. It's at the exact same time. You probably haven't heard of it. It's called the Fraser Express. It's really very good. He's all alone in his bathroom. But so I'm really excited for the game, but I'm more excited to be there with you. I think it's going to be great because you've given me nothing over 15 years, whatever it is.
Well, I see a couch behind you, Dusty. If you just move slightly to the right or left, you could stretch out on that puppy. I
don't need a place to stay. I don't need a place to stay. I'm fine with that, right? Yeah. But I would if you got me a ticket to the game, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. I would extol your virtues on a regular basis.
I don't even know what that means, but I like it.
It means it's one goddamn big meatball, man. Suck it. No, please. This is a really fantastic. If you could get me, this would be amazing. And I'd like to, what would be even better? I would be there and Eric wouldn't. That would be great. That's a Jeb Bush result, isn't it? It's a low energy loser.
Low energy
outcomes.
loser result.
I'm the co-host. I'm not even there, and the Egyptian magician that nobody likes is sitting there beside him, wearing a U.S. Canada jersey, booing Donald Trump, who's going to be there apparently.
Apparently he's gonna. Well, that we had Chris Johnston on this morning, and he's here in Boston, and he said the buzz is that Trump is going to be there for this game on Thursday. So
amazing!
Yeah,
okay, I will pay. I will do anything you want to get there. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Anything.
Okay, no. Let me. How off base am I saying? I think Canada's gonna win. But if we don't, it'll be because of Binnington. Like I had Jordan.
So during the pandemic, I had Chikrin on my show, and I had Binnington on my show. Both are represented by Octagon, and so my buddy works there. And so I had Binnington on, and Chikrin came on, and he was like, "Dude, you are so funny." We laughed the entire time. Then I had Binnington on the next show, and I was like, "This is more serious than a funeral, right?" He's so dialed in. I don't know about you, but watching Binnington play, I don't even love his goaltending style. It seems
he makes me nervous.
He seems confused, right? He seems like he's blind in one eye when I watch him play. He's going left and the puck's coming the right side. You could clearly beat him low blocker side. Agreed? That's like remember Jim Carrey for the Bruins? That ended his career, right? short side. Jordan Binnington is not a good goaltender. Sam Montembeault has had the best 3 seasons of the 3. He plays international hockey. He's good at it. Hill, I'm sure, is fine. Binnington, to me, I have no confidence in him at all. Like zero confidence. I think Canada wins if they can outscore them. I think a lot of it will turn on Hellerbuck. But I think it's going to be a great hockey game that I can't wait to be shoulder to shoulder beside you watching.
Excellent net detective reference. Jim Carrey. Remember that was a big thing, the net detective?
I'm doing I'm throwing meatballs at you. I got Carey. Please, this is I wish we were live. This would be fantastic.
That's a great idea. We should do that.
That's a great idea. Wouldn't it be funny if this whole show, like the Truman Show, like your show didn't even exist? You've been tricking me for 15 years. You don't even have a show.
I like the idea of buying into that bit.
Just like I never went to law school.
I'm not even a lawyer, and you guys have had me on for 15 years.
Every time the judge says something, I turn to my client. Do you know what that means? Because that sounds Latin to me, and I don't speak Italian. So can you help me out? Yeah.
Macramalla, we love you, buddy. We'll catch up next week.
I love you guys more than those dumbass lawyers that keep speaking Latin. Just speak English, dumbasses. Thank you. I love you.
There you go. That is Eric Macramalla, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Jasmine says, Macramalla and Dusty going to meet for the first time? Beautiful. No. We met in Ottawa a while ago now. And actually, I think he just left. But I think I'm going to actually be in Ottawa for some CFL games this year. So maybe I'll have a chance to see Macramalla again. Wouldn't that be nice? They got to fire those guys. I'm sorry.
No,
back to the Jays. I mean, it's just.
No, they don't. Yeah. They're fine. Hey, cheap hot dogs.
Yeah, well, that's like the guys I was talking to last night here. They said, they've come in, they've made the upgrades to the stadium. Congratulations, your job's done.
Yeah.
I'll go find some baseball people to.
Like, I don't even know if you can blame Shapiro and Atkins. It's the ownership that won't move off of it, right? That's where the blame is, but
I'll blame them. But yeah, I also blame ownership in that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones that have let them stay in this position for as long as they have. Any other place and they'd be gone.
All right, that's good. Coming up here after 8 o'clock, we'll get to Greg Wyshynski, Lieutenant Eric's Weekly Rankings of Power, Marmot Basin Snow Report, the wrap for William Huff, 3 questions too many, and of course, a little Kind of Easy trivia. Who wants to play Kind of Easy trivia this morning? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you are watching over on YouTube today, we're 40 away from changing 300. I think there's a decent chance that we could do that before we come back to play Kind of Easy Trivia. So if you're watching over on YouTube, smash the thumbs up for us. It'd be very much appreciated. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends how easy it is to listen to our station online. If you want to play Kind of Easy Trivia, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let Trev know right now that you would like to play. 780-218-9999, and somebody will win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Stake your claim today at Mr. Mike's, where the steak is wicked hard to pass up, because they also have chowder there. Maybe I don't know.
How many bowls of that have you had thus far? Any room service chowder delivery up to your room? Or
somebody suggested to me that I should try a lobster roll while I'm here.
You should.
What is it?
A little bit of lobster, and it's served on a roll or in a roll, I guess, depending on.
So it's like a lobster bun.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Lobster.
400
roll.
likes and you eat one on the show.
Ugh. There's a lot of stuff in there. I thought it was just going to be the lobster, but look at all this other stuff. It looks like potato salad, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Maybe I'll have one plain lobster roll, sir. We'll see how that goes. All right, if you want to play trivia, 780-218-9999. Gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casualism for grabs. 780-218-9999 to play Kind of Easy Trivia this morning. 3 questions too many. Free advice. Oh, we already did free advice. 3 questions too many. That's good. Greg Wyshynski, weekly rankings of power, and the wrap all on the way. Let's get to a sports update right now for Windsor Plywood, Leduc.
Four Nations face-off final tomorrow from Boston when Canada takes on the USA. Oilers, meanwhile, returning to practice yesterday as Matt Savoy is expected to join the club for its upcoming 5-game road trip. That begins Saturday morning in Philly and will continue Sunday morning in Washington, D.C. 21-year-old Savoy, 13 goals and 24 assists in 45 games in the AHL this season. Over to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts from Thunder Bay. Action in the morning draw. Selena Sturmay's Alberta rink currently up 4-2 on New Brunswick. That in the 4th end. In the evening draw, Sturmay will face Saskatchewan. Kayla Skurlik, we know, will go up against PEI. Skurlik sits at 4-2 entering play today, while Sturmay's rink are 3-2, both teams in Pool A. And the regular season resumes tonight in the NBA when the Lakers host the Hornets in the lone game. Sports update for Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and the surrounding area since 1993. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood Leduc. Yeah.
It's the Haloo Crew. Normally my show won't have to. Here we go to gas station brew. Money Orlando got one too. It's the Haloo Crew. Don't ask what second mind I do. Intellectual feels they're screwed. Make it surely up with that glue. Keep this covered diesel. Go back because it's legal. Legal name after so sequel. Laughing just like we will. We can play together. We'll check this flow back to the one they know. It's like a long hour. Gold or maybe silver. It's the Haloo Crew. It's a story about tomorrow. Doing a cameo sometime from morning radio. The Haloo Crew, from Big Cat, from Grand Prairie, Whitefields, Orlando, the Northside, Normandy. Schadenfreude, the happiness of Mother's Day, avoid. They take pleasure in your hemorrhoid. Your misery makes them overjoyed. Schadenfreude, on and off the ice they will destroy ya. They guarantee to never ever bore ya. So they wish you happy Schadenfreude. It's the Haloo Crew. It's the Haloo Crew.
Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at edmontonsportstalk.com, please tell your friends how easy it is to listen to the station with just a single click, and always static free since 23. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports here at Edmonton Sports Talk. The Nielson Show today, brought to you by our great partners at South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot with South Fort Chev, www.southfortchev.com. And they just launched this year in the month of February, a free full vehicle 79-point inspection, regularly $159.95. First 10 people to call and book with the code EST are going to get that for free. Right? Maybe something's been bothering you lately with the vehicle. You're like, I don't know. I don't want to pay just to have somebody look at it. Well, if you book right now, use the code EST, you will get that entire 79-point inspection for free, regularly $160 value. Call 780-998-7883. That's 780-998-7883. And book with the code EST. Busy third hour coming up. The hangout, obviously, to follow. The Lock Shop will be live from Hustler's Room here in Boston today. Oil Stream, EST Afternoons, and the Reed Wilkins Show later on today as well. It is Dusty. I am in way too fancy suite for me here in Boston. And Rick is back in the Popeye studio where they've got the value menu right now. $4 value menu items available at Popeyes. All right, Trev, who do we have playing Kind of Easy Trivia this morning?
This is Sailor.
The Sailor is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia this morning. You love to see it. It's Kind of Easy Trivia today and every day, brought to you by our great partners at Mr. Mike's. Are you ready to stake your claim? Head to Mr. Mike's for a 2-course steak dinner for just $39.99. Start with an Emperor's Caesar salad and a rustic onion soup. Then enjoy their tender 7-ounce sirloin steak with béarnaise butter and garlic mashed potatoes loaded with savory toppings. Mr. Mike's, eat locally, enjoy casually. Sailor, good morning. How are you, sir? Could you guys hear Sailor?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
I think you need to say ahoy.
Hey, Sailor, are you there, Sailor? Trev's working on him?
Yeah, we're working. We'll let you know.
All right. Okay. Well, even if
no worries.
if you
Hey,
can,
there he is.
Oh, there we go. We got him. Sailor, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Dusty, how's it going? Ahoy.
Ahoy to you too, Sailor. Are you ready to set sail on Kind of Easy Trivia here this morning?
I'm always ready. Let's go. Nasty. No.
No, he's munching. No. All right. Trev will start the ticker. I have to read the first question. Good luck, Sailor. Here we go. Which city am I currently in?
Dusty is currently in Boston.
Which event takes place here tomorrow night?
Four Nations.
What position does Quinn Hughes play?
Ooh, I believe he plays defense.
Name one current player on the Celtics.
Fire Mark Shapiro.
What color is the monster at Fenway? He got it. I'm giving him 4.
No! My God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment.
Totally.
People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV.
That's stupid.
It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Little Club B loop action for you, following up Kind of Easy Trivia, where the questions weren't very wicked hard. You know what? Let's do this. Hammer the Paris Jewelers inbox today with other things that sound cool when you say them with a half-assed Boston accent. 780-218-9999. Eric already pointed out to me earlier today. The Departed.
Yeah, and I think Chowder as well from the old Simpsons gag, right?
Chowder. Chowder. What else sounds good? What else could I talk like a local today here in Boston and fit right in? Right? Keep those ideas coming in. 780-218-9999. One of you will win text of the day today for A and W. Sink your teeth into the savings right now with the new $6 Buddy Bundle. For a limited time, get your choice of a Buddy Burger with cheese made with that juicy grass-fed beef and sauteed onions, or a hot and crispy Chicken Buddy Burger, small fries and a small drink, all for just $6. Yeah, that's right, $6. Grab a Buddy Bundle today, available in restaurants and on the A&W mobile app for a limited time. Let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
Yes, I do. It's 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who, believe it or not, also hails from Boston. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
What? Unbelievable. Yeah. I wonder if I can find his... he's Mitch from Park Mazda, isn't it? Park? He's over at the Park.
Well, he's at Boston, England, though. That the Lincolnshire town. Yeah, he's okay.
I always get my bosses mixed up. Every time. Do you have a Twitter account, Rick?
Yes, I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric, and you can follow Edmonton Sports Talk at YEG Sports Talk on X.
Yeah, thanks for following us over there. If you're watching on YouTube today, we are 14 away from changing 300. So, easy peasy right now. If you're watching over there, hammer the thumbs up for us. We'll be changing 300 in just a few moments' time. The Baskin Robin. I don't know. I can only say wicked hot. I can't. Robbins. Like it doesn't sound right to me. I don't know. It's a. I do want to try a Dunkin's Donuts today. Everybody always says Dunkin's Donuts, big deal. Might have to try that at some point. Park the car in the yard. That's a good one. Park the car in the Harvard yard. Where are you going? I'm having a wicked hard time parking the car here in the Harvard yard.
Yeah.
This is a fun show, isn't it? All right. Question number 1. Guys, who or what would you guys say is your favorite thing about the Boston sports scene?
Right now or in general? I just... because I love Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Celtics. He's very refreshing.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I think you could probably go all time.
Yeah,
if you wanted. I like watching
Celtic baseball
Ride.
Games that happen at Fenway. I have
even on TV, you don't mind that.
Old stadiums are where it's at, and I mean that one's just so unique. Whether you're a Red Sox fan or not, I just the Green Monster. You know,
the Monster. He hit one over the Monster. Hit my parked car. You know what? It probably does have to be Fenway. Like I don't necessarily like the Red Sox or the Celtics or the Bruins. Hate
or the
Bruins.
Patriots. I mean, we're not Patriots
or the
people.
Patriots. I hate all of their teams.
Yeah.
But the Fenway thing, when I did a tour of Fenway before we had kids, it was the best $17 we ever spent in our entire lives. Like the Fenway and the Coolbeck guys did the Fenway tour yesterday, and they just said it was incredible. Like the history on the Fenway tour, it's worth the bucks. So yeah, probably by default, Fenway.
I think
also,
the Boston College Eagles as well. Doug Flutie,
college hockey. You know what? I would also have to give a quick shout out here to the Boston Celtics for being the first organization to form the Big Three with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Rondo. They had to do it. They had to do it because they knew that they weren't going to be able to beat LeBron James in Cleveland unless they had a Big Three. So they were the first ones in the modern era to do it. So I guess you have to give them a lot of credit for that. So that was a thing as well. Question number 2. Oh, you know what? This is because my internet connection issues this morning. We didn't get to talk about it earlier, but the question kind of ties into where I wanted to go a little bit earlier. Guys, are the Elks now Grey Cup contenders? And where I wanted to go earlier when I couldn't join you guys, Brandon Barlow. They brought in Barlow, which 14 sacks the last 2 years. Really good addition on the defensive line. Did you see that the Elks made Robbie Smith the highest paid defensive player in the league?
Yeah. We discussed that a bit. Cody Fajardo taking a haircut, $100,000 pay cut. Reed or Jason Millimet, I want to had Ed Hervey on the show, the Reed Wilkins show yesterday afternoon. The question was, Grey Cup contender? You should always be a Grey Cup contender to a certain degree in a 9-team league. It's just how close you are. They did the work in free agency. Where that translates, who knows? They should be better. They should be a contender. And when you look around the league, Dusty, I mean, you follow this closely. The Bombers will be hosting the Grey Cup. They've had a lot of people exit that organization, both on the field and off of it. We'll see how they fill those gaps. Toronto, too, has been pillaged, namely by the Elks, especially on that defensive front. So, if not the Elks, then whom? I think BC is going to look a lot different than we've expected. The Riders perhaps kind of staying packed, maybe adding a few things along the edges, but you can really kind of say it's wide open, so why not them?
Yeah, but my answer to this question was going to say I don't know if they are Grey Cup contenders, but I definitely will say that they're not Grey Cup contenders. Like they're not, they've done enough to be where I think they're fourth on the 3-down power rankings, behind maybe they're fifth.
In terms of the free agency or whatever. Yeah.
No, I think the
just
3-down guys did like power rankings post free agency. And it was the Riders at 1. It was Montreal at 2, Ottawa at 3, Bombers at 4, Edmonton at 5.
Montreal's one I forgot to mention too. I'm very excited to see what Davis Alexander can do with the team.
I don't think it's a crazy take to say that the Elks could finish ahead of the Bombers in the standings this year.
Sure.
Honestly, I think they could. I think they could finish. I mean, if everything comes together and Trey Ford really pans out, I mean, there's no reason to think that they couldn't finish first.
But even if
I understand why the Riders are at the top of those rankings right now.
I mean, Cody Fajardo is right there, right? I mean, you could have different scenarios where he comes in. Whether it's due to play or I know they want Trey Ford to be the guy, and that's where the money is suggested. But I mean, they've got depth, baby, and that's what you need for a successful, full CFL season.
I cannot wait for this season to begin, man. I am very excited to just call the games and be excited to watch action all around the league. Question number 3, and we are one away from changing 300, so be that person. Will John Cooper load up the ice time on the big dogs tomorrow night? What do you think, Rick? Do you keep rolling McDavid out there for 17 minutes, or does he get 22 minutes tomorrow night?
Sure. It's the final, right? I mean, unleash it all. Unleash hell. Go with the big dogs. Go with whatever. I mean, I don't know. What combination do you think unlocks the States? And it could be as simple as having Makar back in this lineup, right? Johnston said scoring goals, and when you lose 3-1, I mean, I know we can carve a Binnington's game and what have you, but having Makar in there. You're going to have to score
at least 3 goals to win this.
Yeah, sure.
At least minimum. Like Binnington's going to get beaten a couple times.
Yeah, and Hellebuck is no slouch in his right. So, but I think Bruce Boudreau said it as well on TSN, but not being so cute. Just getting shots on net and making life a little more difficult in there. And if loading up the lines does it for Coop, then fine. He's been tinkering all tournament. I'm sure he's kind of gotten to a point where he knows and feels comfortable what combination he should roll into this game. And if it doesn't work, I think he's shown as well that he's not afraid to make changes on the fly. So load him up, do whatever you have to do. It'll be interesting to see what the U.S. also deploy in answering back to that. But yeah, I think Makar is that linchpin as well that kind of makes everything. I know he's a defenseman, but making things click offensively and in the transition game.
Should definitely make a big difference. And we'll get into that with Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. If you want to chime in on this, 780-218-9999. Big Slam Nasty. Text us in the Parachuters inbox and says, Dusty, you need to walk around Boston. And anyone that looks at you funny, just ask, are you a knock? In your best accent. That's that's a good one, sir. Are you a knock? You got to tell me if you're a knock. That's
say armadillo with a Boston accent.
I'm armadillo. Where's the one? The one guy sent in the Star Wars quotes. In a galaxy wicked far away, these aren't the droids you're looking for, Skywalker.
Say
Not
khakis.
Bad. Khakis. Khakis. Where's my khakis?
Your pants or your
My khakis are in my khakis. I don't know why that's so funny, but that's really funny to me. My khakis are in my
armadillo
khakis.
one more time. Say I'm an armadillo.
Oh God! You know what I like here? You know what I like here? Nas 26. Not today, buddy. I'm getting into it. LeBron knows he's not number one. He just keeps trying to keep the debate going because he's an attention seeker. Tell me when has LeBron talked about this on his own? First of all, horrible take. And this is Jordan remains silent on the topic because he knows he's the best ever. Jordan freaking produced a documentary about himself. Come on, and dropped it right after LeBron's last title here. Like, please. He's the most conceited athlete of all time. What are we talking about? My God. Guys, you got horrible takes.
Never
takes
play on the court with his son either, eh?
Yeah. Well, if MJ wants to see his son, it has to be through a glass window. Think about that for a second. My God.
My dad.
The khakis and the khakis.
My dad.
All right, let's get to that's a good for the Italian Center. Where if you're looking for something, I don't know what to do for dinner tonight, just go to the Italian Center website and click on recipes. And then you'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. And this is a good idea. And this is a good idea. And there's just so many good ideas under the recipes. It tells you how to do it. That's what a recipe is. There's so many different things here. I'm looking right now. Roasted chicken with sheet pan vegetables. Oh. Festive mini cheese ball appetizer. Festive mini cheese ball appetizers. Takes 30 minutes to make, serves 20 to 24 people. There's a lot of, you can get sucked down a little Italian Center shop hole here.
Tango says
Italian
he's okay with LeBron's choice to just skip the All-Star game then. Hey,
No, look, Anthony Edwards did too. Nobody's bitching about that.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be the face of the league. That's okay.
Well, somebody needs to be because LeBron's 40 years old. Everybody still acts like that. That just shows why he's the greatest of all time. You got ridiculous expectations on a 40-year-old. When Jordan was 40 after 2 retirements, he's sitting there and watching the people like, oh, it's so cute. It's just MJ. And now it's like, oh, LeBron's 6th on the NBA MVP power rankings in year 22. Anyway, here's what's good. That's good. So I sit down on my flight from Calgary to New York yesterday, almost 5 hours. This young married couple sits down next to me with a baby who's 2 months old. 2-month-old baby sitting literally in the seat next to me. Not on his own, obviously. He was in his parents' arms. Sitting there, and he sat down. I was like, really? I'm going to be the one guy who's beside a baby for 5 hours.
And after all you've went through,
after all my delays, all this stuff, it's just ridiculous. The good part is that this kid was a legend. I swear to God, he did not make a sound for the entire 5 hours. I wanted to lean over and put when we had kids, you always think your kids are dead, right? You're like, they're not even breathing. And then you're listening, you got your finger under their nose. I wanted to do that with this people's baby. Because I looked at it, I was like, I don't think your baby's alive. It hasn't, for all I know, it was a toy baby. At one point,
they're training.
At one point, I'm falling asleep and my hat was kind of up on my head. And I don't know if somebody walked by and bumped me or something, but they shook me awake and my hat fell off my head and the brim hit the baby's face. It was sitting right next to me. It bounced off the dad's shoulder, hit the baby's face. And I looked at, I kind of stunned awake. I looked at the dad. I was like, and he's like, don't worry about it. I was like, this kid, it was outside of my 2 kids, this is my favorite baby of all time.
That was the test, though. The cap, that was your big test moment. Hit the floor. There was a moment of silence. What happens now?
That was about 2 hours into a 5-hour flight when the brim of my hat hit the baby in the face. And I thought, it's going to be up now. And I've screwed everything up and it's ruining the rest of my flight. But this baby was just it didn't matter. He's just out. He's just, I don't know, milk coma or whatever. But I couldn't believe it. When I got off the flight, I looked at those people and I said, your baby is very well behaved. Also you should check on it because I'm not sure he's a real baby. It was crazy. really impressive. So that's my good. Sit down next to a baby on a 5-hour flight and you don't hear a peep from him. Can it get any better than that? I don't think so. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Nas 26. I'm sure there's a different show you can go and take your horrible NBA takes to. Just saying. All right, Greg Wyshynski's on the other side here. We'll get his thoughts on this huge game between our bitter rival nations, and we're obviously, if the U.S. loses, we get to rub it in his face, and if they win, then it's just
winner take all.
Doesn't matter.
The winner gets the other country, right? That's maybe how it should be.
The Tariffs Bowl,
all up for grabs.
Anyway, we'll get to that with Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. He's going to join us just after this update from Lieutenant Eric. Weekly rankings of power, Marmot Basin Snow Report, and the wrap for William Huff still to come as well.
Four Nations face-off final tomorrow from Boston when Canada will take on the United States of America. Oilers back on the ice yesterday practicing ahead of their 5-game road trip that begins Saturday morning in Philadelphia. The club welcomed a pair of players, notably Matt Savoy, the 21-year-old, 13 goals and 24 assists in 45 games on the farm this season. He is expected to remain with the team during the trip. Derek Ryan was also practiced yesterday, but not officially recalled, as both players were filling in spots due to the absence of players at the Four Nations. Scotty's Tournament of Hearts from Thunder Bay this morning. In the morning draw, Alberta's Selena Sturmey rink on the Pebble. They are currently up 5-4 on New Brunswick. That game in the 6th end. Action later this evening. Sturmey will take on Saskatchewan's Nancy Martin, while Kayla Skrlik, they'll go up against PEI's Jane DiCarlo. Skrlik sits at 4-2 entering play today, while Sturmey's rink are 3-2, both teams in Pool A. And the regular season schedule picks up tonight in the NBA with just the lone game. It'll be LeBron and the Lakers, if he chooses to play, hosting the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, he's actually saying, I don't think he's going to play because he's banged up.
Yeah, well, sure.
Jeez.
I mean, but it's his choice. Sit and Sleep currently offering a winter clearance event, from massive discounts on major sleep brands to unbeatable deals on Canadian-made custom furniture. Our winter clearance event is your chance to transform your home at a fraction of the cost. Plus, you can enjoy perks like free local white glove delivery and special financing offers that make it even easier to bring home the best. Visit us today in South Common, next to Planet Fitness. Salute crew.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It is the Nielson Show. We are well over 300 likes, pushing towards 400 on the live show this morning over on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube today, hammer that thumbs up for us. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can text us in the Paris Jewelers inbox, and we'll get to more of those text messages as we work our way through the show this morning. We've got weekly rankings of power, the Marmot Basin Snow Report, the wrap for William Huff still to come this morning as well. Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. He looks like he's in a hotel room, so he's probably here in Boston as well. Let's find out. Let's bring in Greg this morning. Greg, good morning. Happy day before the Four Nations final. How are you doing, sir?
You're very perceptive. I am, in fact, in a hotel room right now. I don't know what gave it away. The curtain, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We're making do. I wish the Marriott, was treating its podcasters better by having more light in the room. But what you can't have, beggars can't be choosers. You can't have everything.
Hey, if there's one food item I need to try while I'm in Boston, what would it be?
Clam chowder, New England style clam chowder. There's a place called something Sale. I forget the name of it that I went to last night. It's one of my favorite places. It's right by the water. And they do the thick clam chowder, which is the best. But really, Boston's a great food city, man. I would highly recommend Regina's Pizza as well.
Yeah, that's what Chris Johnston said this morning too. Like
DJ Smart, man. My first night here was a medium Regina's pizza and a beer and the SNL 50 special in my hotel room, and I got to tell you, I was in ecstasy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try this Regina's pizza. I mean,
we've had. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get that at some point today. By the way, speaking of the SNL, so I was supposed to fly out here Sunday. That got delayed. Then they pushed me to Monday, and then the plane flipped over at Pearson. So I ended up coming from Calgary, to Edmonton, Calgary, New York, and then got in last night. But where I guess this is going is that Sunday I wasn't expecting to be able to watch the SNL 50 because I thought I'd be on a plane, but I wasn't. So I settled in and I watched the entire show. What was the highlight of it for you? What was the number one?
I'll give you two. Sandler's song was great. It wasn't as good as his song tribute to Farley when he died, but just having somebody there to remember cast members we've forgotten, and then obviously honor Farley and Norm in a really heartfelt way was great. And then, listen, I think the lifeblood of SNL was two things. It was characters and it was impressions for a very long time. And so to have Eddie Murphy on stage doing Tracy Morgan in front of Tracy Morgan. That was going to be my
answer.
First of all, to see Eddie in a sketch, just be a regular sketch performer again was a thrill. I know he hosted, but I just always get a kick out of seeing him in sketches again. But doing Tracy Morgan while Tracy Morgan is up there and doing a better Tracy Morgan than Tracy Morgan was insane. It was so good.
Tracy Morgan was great when he dropped the "I only eat 4 cheese lasagna." I was like, yeah, this is man. He was great, and Murphy was great in the skit with Farrell at the end too.
Yeah, that was which was off the rails. I mean, that one. That was the
probably my
of
favorite sketch of the night.
See, I think that captured the magic of the 10-1 sketch, the completely bonkers, no rules applied, no one's watching anyway kind of sketches they put on last, and I thought that was a perfect encapsulation of that.
So overall, you thought it was it did it justice? 50 years? You know, that was a good show.
I think so. I think it maybe skewed a little bit newer than I wanted. I didn't need to see another Domingo sketch on the.
Yeah, I knew one was coming, but I was like, I don't know if we need another Domingo sketch.
But I think that also kind of captures what the show's become now, which is that it's not a show that, even though they have massive ratings every week, it's not a show that you sit down and watch on a Saturday night anymore. It's a show that you go and you watch on DVR on Sunday morning, or you go to YouTube and just watch the clips. So Domingo, in a way, is sort of the encapsulation of what it is today, which is that 90% of the audience that saw those sketches never interacted with the show, but they were all Sabrina Carpenter fans or Ariana Grande fans that saw the thing on TikTok the next day.
I watched the flight from and it worked out well because the flight was 40 minutes delayed from New York to Boston yesterday. I watched Saturday Night, the movie. Yeah. It was okay.
It's all right.
It was okay. Some of the characters were done pretty well, but I didn't really like the Lorne Michaels character. So I
appreciate the fact that they captured something that I think a lot of people don't know because they just remember the pudgy guy from Ghostbusters. But Dan Aykroyd back in the day, quite the stick man.
He was an attractive individual.
He was
back
the guy.
In the day,
you got them all. Danny Aykroyd.
A ladies' man, Danny Aykroyd. All right, Greg. So here we go. Canada and the United States. Quinn Hughes is not happening, right? Are we going to see something develop today that you think it does happen?
The day is growing long. I mean, I'm interested to see what the U.S. says today because Mike Sullivan was pretty declarative yesterday that Quinn Hughes is coming. It was very dramatic. But non-contact jersey yesterday. Emily Kaplan, my colleague, reported that he's going to be skating in Vancouver again today, which means that he'd have to take a red eye to get here for a game that's 8:00 at night. And I don't know, the math ain't mathing for me right now. But the more intriguing thing for me is why it didn't happen. Did it not happen because the U.S. did not actually have another defenseman go out, and so Quinn didn't want to fly all the way back to Boston? And by the way, he was on the East Coast as late as the weekend, and then flew back to Vancouver, and then would have to fly back. Did he, without any guarantee that he was going to play, did he just not want to do it? Did Vancouver step in and say, he's still injured, you can't have him? I will say this, that when he pulled out, when the decision was made that he wasn't going to play for the United States, it was framed by the team and by others as being Quinn's decision.
Yeah.
Was this still Quinn's decision? Is a question I'm curious about.
Greg, what else is the scout report from the American side, albeit a game in which they didn't need to win against Sweden, but a few walking wounded or perhaps not? The status on the Kachucks, the Matthews, of course, we all heard Charlie McAvoy yesterday going to the hospital, but what's the status percentile, I guess, of health on this American team heading into tomorrow's final?
Well, the McAvoy thing, let's start there because that's going to be a really interesting situation going forward. If you read the Boston Bruins' very detailed timeline and explanation of what McAvoy has injury-wise, they kind of spell out, here is when Team USA's medical staff saw him, and here's where we saw him, and then we put him in the hospital, is kind of like the timeline of things. And so I'm interested to see if there's any fallout at all from the Bruins not having their best defenseman basically for an indeterminate amount of time because of an injury that was suffered during this tournament and the treatment that he received during the tournament. The Tkachuk should be fine. Matthews has been dinged up all season. I think his absence on Monday was a surprise. So you wonder what's going on there. But, outside of McAvoy, I think the general sense from the Americans yesterday was that everybody's going to be full speed ahead.
What about Cale Makar factoring into this on the other side, and how does that change things for the U.S.?
It changes things dramatically for Canada. I mean, when he's played, they've looked really, really good. I mean, I still think about that power play that we saw in the game against Finland and or the game against Sweden rather, and just like how quickly they scored, and they did not have that against the United States. So, look, he changes things. He's clearly their best offensive defenseman. He's able to skate out of trouble, probably will be able to help with the the defensive system that the Americans are playing on Saturday, where they were using their speed to contain guys like McKinnon, for example, who only had one shot. He's a game breaker, and honestly, like, is the reason why this game tomorrow night could be dramatically different than the game on Saturday.
Well, from a style perspective, I mean, I'm going to say there's no way there's 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. Like how different do you expect the final to be as opposed to the Saturday night game?
Well, the emotional dynamic changes completely. I mean, that's the one thing as an American I'm really worried about on Thursday, which is that I think this group, the Kachucks in particular, are much better playing the infiltrator villain role going into Montreal and feeding off that energy than they are playing in front of friends and family, playing in Boston, playing in front of people chanting USA. Like, there's a motivation to that, but there's also oh my God, we can't let these guys down to that too, right? And so I think that is the biggest factor for me, is how do the Americans process what is going to be an absolutely chaotic environment in their favor in Boston versus having maybe an easier mission in Montreal, which is make all of these people feel miserable. I think they're two very different emotions, and having covered all the guys on this team for a long time, I think there are guys that thrive more in the Canadian infiltration place than they do gripping the sticks in front of their friends and family.
When we had Chris Johnston on earlier this morning, he was talking about how, this tournament, with where things are at with Canada and the U.S. right now, this hockey game between these two nations comes together at a very interesting time, to the point that they were talking about it on CNN. And I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm for this game to happen right now, isn't it?
From a geopolitical standpoint, yeah. I mean, obviously, like, the booing of the anthem was a huge factor in people taking notice of the game on Saturday. I don't quite know what we'll hear on Thursday night. There was, I would say, a smattering of boos for the Canadian anthem in that game before Finland, but that wasn't a whole ton of American fans in the building at that point. There's actually a lot of Canadian fans there. Here's the secret sauce to the tournament, but beyond the geopolitical stuff and whatever, the fighting, whatever. Like, this is a group of the best athletes in the world, having waited several years to play each other and represent their countries. That's as simple as that. That's why I think it's going to be really hard to bottle this again, because you're not going to have a situation where, 2014 was the last Olympics, 2016 was the last best on best. McDavid, Makar, the Kachucks, Matthews, Hughes, all these guys have never gotten a chance to represent their countries in a best on best. They came very close to going to the Olympics, in Beijing that one time, and it didn't work out. Like we will not have this pent up anticipation.
Yeah, you're right. It won't be 8 years again.
It won't be 8 years
time, right?
again.
Like,
And I think that more than anything contributed to the style of the quality of play that we've seen and what we saw go down emotionally on Saturday.
There's a lot of time left for McKinnon and McCarr and McDavid to continue to build their legacy. We know what Sidney Crosby's legacy is already, but this game on Thursday, I mean, can it add to the legacy of Sidney Crosby, or has he already accomplished so much that doesn't really matter?
Yeah, if that Dick scores another overtime goal and repeats exactly what happened.
Can you imagine if he does? Okay, yeah, you're right. If that happens, for sure.
I've had PTSD about that for 15 years, and it might happen again on Thursday, where the euphoria of an American win in the group play is completely undermined and wiped away by losing to Canada in the final. I mean, that's a very real possibility, and I'm preparing myself for it. No, I think Sid's legacy is being added to as we go through this tournament, because I mean, look around today. There are so many stories about, hey, what's it like being in the locker room with this legend? What does he bring to the team? I mean, I think once this tournament is done, we'll probably know more about the injury that he's been dealing with and when playing through in order to represent his country. But even if he doesn't have a heroic moment on Thursday, there's definitely that Sid's a legend, elder statesman, here's what I learned from him thing happening with a lot of the guys that are in that locker room.
All right, Greg. Well, enjoy the game on Thursday, my man, and we'll see how this one goes.
Well, as you boys were mentioning before I hopped on, like, depending on the result, it is either one of the single most important moments in the history of hockey or a fake tournament that we threw together because we couldn't figure out how to get Russia in the World Cup. And we'll all cherish our T-shirts that we bought at the shop for like $80 and then never think of it again.
There you go. It's Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. Thanks, Greg. We'll see you around, man.
Anytime.
It's Greg from ESPN joining us, and he's an American. So for the next 24 hours, we hate his guts. LT, should we do some weekly rankings of Power, buddy, or what?
Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm curious to where you're going to go today. I got a couple of ideas, but what are you doing?
Well, we did do rankings for the Four Nations prior to the tournament.
We did. You're right. Yeah, we did.
Since updated those rankings now leading into tomorrow's Four Nations face-off final. So, I don't know if you're ready for this, but yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this either, buddy, to be honest with you.
Last week, heading into the tournament, for those of you who may have missed it and want to get caught up, the weekly rankings of Power. Again, pre-tournament rankings. Finland, Sweden, Canada, USA, number 1. We will now be doing the in-tournament one day prior to the final rankings. So let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready, man. Give it to me. Number 4.
Number 4, Finland.
Wow. No change. All right, number 3.
Yeah, so usually when there's an arrow, a green arrow up, red arrow down, they're just a dash, black dash next to Finland.
Yeah.
They remain unchanged.
All right, number 3.
Sweden.
Oh,
now this
is maybe higher.
A little murky. Well, because Sweden didn't lose in regulation, they beat the USA. They took Canada. A pretty good tournament. There could be only one Four Nations champion, but they did have a good tournament, albeit not making it to the final. They do get the bronze.
Number 2 on the list.
Number 2 on the list, the United States of America.
Whoa! What a twist, because they were number 1 pre-tournament.
It's moved, and they beat Canada in the preliminary round.
Justify this.
Are you ready for the number 1?
Yes.
The number 1 team ranked in the Four Nations prior to tomorrow's final between the USA and Canada is Canada.
Oh, man, you did it.
And Greg had a very astute point, and myself, Tom Gazole, and YouTube Trev discussed it yesterday. It's a quick tournament. There's not a lot of wiggle room. I think the events that happened on Sunday, Canada playing first, albeit they beat Finland. Finland gets a few of those late goals, right? You're like, ooh, whatever. They did what they had to do. Win in regulation. You then get the Americans, where coming off such a high on Saturday, And as Greg, again, astutely pointed out, playing that villain role in Montreal, you might think playing the final at home has this advantage. I think it's the complete opposite. I think it would be more advantageous for the U.S. to play a final against Canada in Montreal and going in as the big bad boys. This sets up now of the USA winning the battle Saturday, but Canada ultimately winning this war tomorrow night. It's why I have Canada number one. And again, you could say, well, Eric, why didn't you have Sweden over the USA if they beat them? Yeah, well, again, that game ultimately turned out to be nothing. But I just think, too, they're still coming off a loss. You know, you saw the hype and the Kachuk singing Saturday post-game over that win against Canada. That's long gone. Like, that seems like an eternity ago now. So now they have to set up tomorrow at home. Pressure's all on them. Canada's number one on the weekly rankings of power of the Four Nations prior to tomorrow's Four Nations face-off final.
You know what's very interesting? I'm going to point this out right now. Finland beat Sweden. Sweden beat the United States. The United States beat Canada. And Canada beat Finland. The full circle.
There could be only one, though.
Full circle.
And as RCN pointed out, nobody's taking this away. You win the Four Nations, that's it. You go down in history as World Cups, Olympics. That'll all happen. This is it. But it is funny you mentioned that you can take the string, you can take the pins, and everybody kind of got a turn. Hey.
Yeah, everybody got
in the end
a pound of flesh. That's what they got. All right, let's get into your Marmot Basin snow reports. Do you guys have a bed for this?
Well, we use one when you're gone, and it's kind of it takes a different turn and a different vibe. Trev, if you wanted to,
yeah, give me that snow report bed there, Trev. Isn't this a song for something else?
We've used it in the past for a pro, but I bet you don't even. It sounds familiar.
Anyways. Snow report for Ski Marmot. Trace of snow in the last 24 hours. The base right now, 76 centimeters. Season total, 180 centimeters. As of right now, mid-mountains, minus 13. The upper mountain, minus 12. Wind just under 5 kilometers right now up at Marmot. And I am looking at it. Magic Carpet is open. School, you should power rank these one day. The names of the lifts. Magic Carpet open. Schoolhouse Triple open. Eagle Express Quad open, Canadian Rockies Express Quad open, Paradise Quad open, Eagle Ridge Quad open, and the Knob Quad is open as well. So all the lifts are operating up at Marmot. And let's see, a bunch of runs groomed last night, which means we got some corduroy out there. We got some corduroy out there.
Corduroy music,
at Marmot
I tell
as well.
you, hey?
Yeah. SkiMarmot.com for all of their details and the up-to-date snow reports as well. Makes my day. A bookbinder of Alberta. He's at a.
Give us another Wednesday, but in a Bostonian accent, if you can.
Oh, yeah. Let me see what. Evan, I need you to get this wax out of my ear. It's wicked hot in there. It's a wicked hot earwax. Or you're trying to kill me, you nincompoop.
Amazing.
All right, let's do the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as our studio, the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, and actually you'll never know this, but Bruce came down to Boston and wrapped this suite for me before I got here. It looked way older before I got here, but now it looks terrific behind me as well. They've been doing it since 1952. www.williamhuff.com. What did we learn on the show today, boys?
Quinn Hughes, snip, snap, right? The quote was yesterday. The quote yesterday was, "He's coming," and it was like, okay, well, but where is he coming to? I guess would be the follow-up question, and nobody really knows as of yet. So,
I just don't see a world where it's. I don't even like. Who threw a wrench into this thing, right? Because yesterday it was like Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, he's coming.
So who's guilty of false reporting that he was coming in the first place? Or did something switch? I guess the report should have been, if somebody is out, he could possibly come.
Yeah, and again, we're not ruling out the Tanya Harding episode that might transpire later today. As you mentioned, perhaps a Michael Jordan-esque pizza. Somebody did text in about the Kachuk boys giving him some expired Valentine's Day candy.
Funny, that was a funny
and then
text,
waiting
too.
around the corner and then coming out and like pointing and laughing hard at him. Or something
At Jake Sanderson. More Jake Sanderson.
Yeah, he's the
Jake
sacrificial lamb.
Sorry. That's a tough one. Let's see. What else did I? Well, I learned something today that is going to be the sound of the day. This is going to be your sound of the day today. And it's also what I learned. I think it sounds funny. The khakis are in the khakis. Oh, I have to tell you, Boston is a
take
funny
that one
place.
out for a walk today. Like when you go for chowder with us and all that, like you really got to kind of.
I'm definitely going to a store today to buy khakis. And then I'm going to say to Huss, it's like, oh, where's my, when I travel, I like to put my khakis in my khakis. And then,
wear them to the game. You'll have the sweet humming the entire night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, where are my khakis at? They're on your legs, Dusty. No, I'm talking about my khakis. Like, that would be, oh, God, I might have to get a pair of
Who's on
Boston
first? Yeah.
khakis.
No, you got to do that.
Yeah.
How many times do you have this opportunity, right?
Well, I want like khakis with with pockets, like back in the day. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Because then I can put my khakis in them. Oh, it is a hilarious accent that they have down here. It really is. All right, so let's get to your text of the day today for A&W. Of course, all the text messages rolling into the Paris Jewelers inbox today, where they are just recovering. The entire staff is still smoking on a big long cigarette after Valentine's Day at Paris Jewelers. Text of the day today will be A&W. They got the $6 Buddy bundle for either the regular Buddy or the crispy chicken Buddy as well. I think we probably got to go with a Macramalla.
As per tradition, yeah.
Today. There are some good ones. Let's I put these four in the mix. You guys can decide back in the studio. EST legal analyst and guy who got fired from his job as a TV writer due to the uncomfortably long sex scene he wrote for Mr. Dressup. EST legal analyst and guy who always green screens famous adult film sets on his Zoom meeting backgrounds. EST legal analyst and guy who's following Team Canada's lead and instantly fighting any American he sees, or EST legal analyst and guy who thinks that muster points are a scam. What's the text of the day today, buddy?
Well, I do like the thought of goodwill humping going on during a Macramalla Zoom, like something like that in the background. Trev, do you have a suggestion there for? They're all a
I
little
agree
dirty.
with LT.
The green
All right.
screen?
Green screen.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go green screen. Tommy Rubella, congratulations, buddy. You've won text of the day today. EST legal analyst and guy who always green screens famous adult film sets on his Zoom meeting backgrounds. That's a funny one. All right, 780-218-9999. The text messages can continue to roll in on the Hangout. Do we know who's on the Hangout today, boys?
Jasmine is back, and she was kind of pulling a bit of a LeBron yesterday as well, keeping herself out of the Hangout. I think, you had the Honey flu? Yeah. Matthew Iwanek, Tom Gazzola, Jasmine, and Belzy will be rolling in.
Yeah, Wednesday. It's Wednesday, of course, yeah.
Got to put the coffee on.
No, it's so tell me what you think the league would have supported here. Okay? Does the league, what's better for the NBA? Okay? LeBron James just being there for the weekend, or Norm Powell gets to play? Calm down. Like, you don't think the NBA was like, hey, LeBron, even if you can't play, we're going to need you to come to the event here. Like,
schmooze it
please. Whatever. Unbelievable. All right. So what are we watching tonight, boys? What are you watching tonight?
I will continue with the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Just a quick score update as well. The Sturmey Rink, they're currently 5-4 up. That's in the 7th end over New Brunswick. Both Alberta teams will be on the Pebble in the evening draw tonight. Sturmey will face Saskatchewan. Kayla Skurlik, who is 4-2 entering today, she's up against PEI. So that's both tonight. And I'll be watching those with an episode of North of 60 sprinkled in somewhere in between. And the Lakers and Hornets, the lone NBA game as the regular season schedule continues.
Winner gets Mark Williams. Maybe loser gets Mark Williams. I don't know.
The bowl, yeah.
Or Mark Williams is just going to be sitting there on the other side as a fan. If you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. I've got 3 episodes left of Cobra Kai. That now I'm not going to be sitting in my hotel room here in Boston tonight watching Cobra Kai. Or will I? Hey, maybe I will.
How do you say Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Johnny Lawrence. No, that doesn't work. Anyway, I'm going to go put my car keys in my car keys.
Go get some khakis.
I should. I don't have a good pair of khakis right now.
And rent a car just to get car keys.
Well, I have car keys.
You got to rent a car there?
No. But I have car keys because I have the keys to my truck.
But really live out the bit. Get the rent a car and be like,
I rented a car and I'd like some car keys to go in my khakis. See what they say. I wonder how many idiots try to do that bit with them. It must get really annoying. Oh, well, it's definitely not annoying on the air. The Hangout is coming up next from 9 to 11. I'll be back with the Lock Shop from Hustler's hotel room.
Yes, with his parents offering you guys dainties throughout the program, right? Like, I like them popping up in the background.
A one of one, a national treasure, that Andrew Patterson. All right. If I get to his room right before Lock Shop and he is in the robe, I'm going to love it. That would be great. All right, for YouTube, Trev and Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielson coming at you from Boston. We will be live from Boston here as well tomorrow, getting you set for Canada and the United States, playing hockey in front of the President of the United States. Wow, that goes wicked hard. It really does. That's it for the show. Take it easy.